Good evening and welcome to Poker Night Live, the best place on TV to learn poker. Why? Because we can see all the cards, we can see all the bets, all the action, we get all the comments. Also a great place to tune up your game. You can even ask us how to do that. Tonight I'm going to be with you. I'm James Browning and I'm going to be here for the whole 4 hours. Now tonight is special because tonight you, the viewers back home, are going to be helping me through the night. You're going to be my co-presenters. I need loads of emails. In fact, I would like to break the record, to tell the truth. So if we could, let's do it together. I would like loads of questions, loads of comments, loads of jokes, everything you want to do. Help me through the night and let's all have a really great night. Anyway, to do that, you'll need to contact us. And the best way to do that is to text us at 84222, putting the word poker and your poker question, or your poker quip maybe, or email us at poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. Don't forget, we've also got a fabulous forum which you can find at www.pokernightlive.co.uk. But you're not allowed to look at that now because you've got to help me through the night. You got it. Okay, great to have you here. I'll tell you what, why don't we have a look at the tables? James, will you take us round? No problem. And here we are. We're starting off with a sit and go. It's a $10 sit and go, and this is the long structure. And we've got a full table there. We see on the beginning level, 10, 20 are the blinds. And oh look, we've got a big hand there from Scotty, pair of tens. Now this is a $20 sit and go, and this is the short structure where they start with 1,000 chips, and these go up every 10 hands. He's got jacks for Ghostbuster, but Crespo's got the queen. But look at that, 9, 10, jack, queen, king makes a straight, and that beats 2 pairs anytime. And here's our 25-cent, 50-cent cash game. There's 1 seat available there. Quick, click on it. We'll be joining that through the night. There's Snap It and Bullets. And here it comes. It's a change of colour. It's green. Yes, that's what it means. It's multi-table tournament time. And this is a $10 multi-table tournament. It's a rebuy tournament, and you can also have an add-on. And the blinds go up every 12 minutes. At the moment, I think there were 93 players entered this tournament, and they're spread out over 12 tables. I'll tell you what, we'll just watch the end of this hand. We've got the Storm there. He's just bet 120. He's got the top pair. Poor old Crespo is got nothing there and at the moment. So it's kicker battle here, ace-10 against ace-8. And there's no way Crespo, of course, can win this pot. So actually, well, let's see if he rebuys after this hand. We can see everything here on Poker Night Live. And the Storm checks. He had the better kicker, he had the 10. Watch this space. Crespo, what are you doing? Yep, there it is, 1,500. Replenished his stack in 1 click. Okay, so there's plenty of games out there for us. As I said, I really do want your questions tonight more than ever. I always love them anyway, but this is an interactive show and we can get really interactive tonight. Anyway, let's kick off and we'll start and have a look at the $20 sit and go. And don't forget, this is the short structure one, where they started with 1,000 chips. They're on the first level, because we can see at the top there it says 10, 20. And the blinds will go up every 10 hands. And we've got Snaky, Sir and Yip, John the Brick, Bullets, Crespo, Nods, Wayne Wallace and Ghostbuster. Well, no connection for Sir, but Nods has got the nod. He's hit the second pair. Pair of eights, and he bets 80. Freudian slip. But I don't think Sir... Oh, my goodness, what a move here. He's got absolutely nothing. And it's good night, Sir. Aces and eights beats, Queen High after the aces. Well, a very adventurous play there. A little bit rash, I think, in the first level of a sit and go. But you had your Gus Hansen moment there. We all saw it on Poker Night Live. And the flop, it's got ace, 8, 6, 2 diamonds. Now 2 spades, a double flush draw. But yes, Nods has got a flush draw. John the Brick was suited, but of course there's no clubs in sight. And of course we've got 2 Jack 9s there, but amazingly enough, John the Brick, of course, is winning this encounter just by virtue of the fact he's got a king. But is Nods going to use his position here? There's not a lot in the middle. He doesn't try anything, and of course John the Brick wins with a king. Quite amazing. Nods, I think he could have a little limp in here with his pair. A nice move in these sit and go. Oh, he's done more than that. He's decided to raise it up. Well, he has actually got off to a good start in the tournament when he was donated those chips before. So maybe he's just going to try and pressurize and keep his opponent on the back foot, so to speak. Is he going to try it again? 2 notches up the ladder. Eights. Oh, this is a pair of eights. This gets 120. Mind you, he's under the gun there. And he's been called by John the Brick, who's immediately hit his ace. And now what is Nods going to do? Oh, a little baby 20. John the Brick won't stand for that. He puts in the immediate re-raise, makes it 100. And Nods, very sensibly, surrenders. Wayne Wallace, King 7, Ghostbuster, Ace 5. I don't mind him passing that. This is a snaky Ace 10. What's he going to do? Decides to put a flat raise in. By that I mean 20 with 20, which makes 40. John the Brick calls. He's in the cut-off position. That's 1 before the button. Calls with his Ace 9, and he's actually connected a flush draw. And there's 3 aces out there. And, oh, no waiting for John the Brick. The board's paired. I don't think from the way the betting's going that you can imagine there's a house out there, but he's got the nut flush. Let's see how much he bets. Oh, what's he going to do here? A baby raise, I think. Oh, a massive, well, actually that bet is crazy, because who's going to call him there? I don't think he's going to get many callers there unless they've got the house. I think he could have actually just gone for it. It didn't feel like a house there, I admit, unless he thinks someone with a king flush is going to risk all his chips. But I think maybe you could have got a smaller flush, or maybe a trips or 2 pair could have paid you something there. And I think that was a good chance for John the Brick to put in a value bet there, i.e. just to make sure that he captured a few more chips there. Get paid for having hit his flush. So we must think about the bets we put out there all the time. We've got to get out of this internet habit of too frequently clicking the all-in button, I think. There's a time and a place for it. The place for it is when you're running short of chips and the blinds are high, and if you bet, you're going to be committed anyway. In that case, that's a fine time for all-in. But when you've suddenly got so much play, then you should play more in relation to the size of the blinds. So that will keep everything in ratio. And that's where you hear me keep on talking about the risk-reward ratio. Well, John the Brick has flopped a flush. He's the flush man tonight so far. And in fact, he's got an up and down straight flush draw. A 4 of diamonds or a 9 of diamonds would give him a straight flush. But he doesn't need that anyway, because it would be very cruel if he lost this one. He would have to go runner runner to make bullets a house. And it ain't going to happen. And luckily for him, Bullets didn't have a single diamond in his hand, otherwise he could have been in trouble there if it was a bigger diamond than an 8. And John the Brick has gone up to 3,320, which is an amazing start in this sit and go. Bullets wondering where should he put his last 60. Well, I think my last 60 would have probably gone in there, actually. It was a king. And that's a better than average hand. So next hand he's going to be on the big blind anyway. So actually, I think he should have popped his 60 in there. He still had a mountain to climb, but I think at least he'd have started the climb of the mountain with a king in his hand. But never mind, he might get lucky and get a better hand. We'll find out shortly. John the Brick, ace jack. He's got the ace, pair of aces. He's got the kicker, the jack. Nods, he's got the pair of aces, but only got the 8 as a kicker. He has got a backdoor straight draw, however, which would need to go runner runner to give him a straight. Something like 5-9 would work, or 9-5, or 9-10. Anyway, John the Brick's got the real hand. He's got chips as well. Oh my goodness! And Nods has now come back over the top. People. Oh, there's one of the cards I mentioned, but also. Look at this, it's given him a flush draw as well, because he's got the ace of spades. That is a great card for him. Straight draw, flush draw, and he can hit his 8. So he's got a lot of cards there, but that's not one of them. And although he suddenly had a lot of outs from nowhere, there we go. He had possible flush, a possible straight, possible 8 to make a 2 pair. None of them came. And John won with aces and 6s with a jack. That's his best 5-card poker hand. And remember that, always in your mind, say what your best 5-card poker hand is. Then you'll know if the kicker is relevant or not. So for those of us who are just starting the game, always think of your poker hand like that. Named in your head what the 5-card hand is. Also, if you're just a beginner, when you have your hand, also check out how many hands are above that hand. How many possible hands could be beating your hand? And that will put your hand in perspective. It'll give you a better idea of its value. Well, look at that. 7-5, click the 5, and that was enough. Well, there's 5 runners left here. Don't forget there's 3 prizes here. First prize gets 50%, second prize gets 30%, and third prize gets 20%. Bullet's aggressive play there with his pair of 4s. John the Brick breaks the 5,000 barrier. Very impressive. Wayne Wallace. Ace-8 is quite a big hand, 5-handed, but he thinks not. John the Brick, he's got all the chips. And there's Bullets. I think that's a good decision this time. We wish him luck. See if he can make one of the greatest comebacks. There we go. The comeback continues. Bullets is now back to 360. 40 of it having to be popped into the small blind, which has now gone up to 40, and the big blind has now gone up to 80. Well, Bullets, are you feeling fruity? Certainly deliver. Oh, well, with the amount of chips you've got, well, you've got lucky. You've hit your 9. Well, bet it now. Please bet it now. Yes, well done. And he's back to 440. Well, the infamous 7-8 offsuit on the button. He's certainly deliberating over his plays. He's very aware that since he went down to 60 chips, he's very aware that he only has 1 life in this, and it's quite fun when you start to battle back from the depths. We all love an underdog in England, so I'm sure you've got a lot of people supporting your Bullets. Can he come back from nothing? Anyone got a jack? No. In fact, no one's connected at all. So that means the ace is winning. Pair of jacks with ace 6-5 at the moment. Bullets decides, no, there's something better coming. Wayne Wallace, 7-8 on the button again, offsuit. Maybe it's going to be a test. Maybe everyone's going to get 7-8 offsuit on the button just to see how they play it. Mark Banning could have sort of requested this trial, I think, from the software. That could be it. Ghostbuster, yep, aggressive play. He's got an ace. And amusingly, his opponent's got the same kicker. And there's not going to be a flush, so it's going to be a split pot. Aggressive play by Ghostbuster. Fearless play by Snakey. Share the spoils. This looks like a good one, Bullets. Here we go. Crank it up. I think he should actually go all in, but I know it's not his style from what I've seen. He got the chips anyway, and he's now back to 560. Bullets, we're watching with fascination as you break into 600. 10 times what you had. Amazing. Could you win the Poker Night Live Chip and a Chair Award? Just made up the small blind. Wayne Wallace, though, not mucking around. Oh, and Bullets. Wisely's put it down there. Says, I'd rather be a better than a caller. John the Brick limps in with ace 5. Bullets doesn't want to know. Will Wayne Wallace make up the small blind? Nope. And again, both players have missed. And John the Brick, by virtue of having a big stack of chips and also that wonderful Texas Hold'em thing called position, won the pot. His opponent checked. He flexed his muscles, displayed his huge stack of chips, and bet. It was enough to frighten Ghostbuster. Wayne Wallace on the button. Doesn't want to know. And look at this, very adventurous from Snakey. Oh, beg your pardon, I misread it. Not so adventurous, a pair of 9s. He's your favourite. Beg your pardon, Snakey. I thought it was something else. I sat back in my chair. Nope, it's a pair of 9s, and it gives him 2 pairs, 7s and 9s, and he's captured some chips off the chip leader. My John the Brick still got over 4,000. And Hardly noticed it. But Snaky, you're back in the game, mate. Yes, good play there. You didn't want to be seeing high cards and getting frightened. You decided to commit your chips, and either they pass or you're going to double up, and you doubled up. Very nice. Small pair in early position, awkward. It's 10% of his chips just a call, and he decides against it. And I think wisely, you can't really be playing sort of a drawing game when you haven't got too much play. A testing bet from John the Brick, using his muscles again, a re-raise in fact. I beg your pardon, sorry, the blinds 8160 just sneaked up, did they? Ah, right. So it's really moving along now. Each round costing you 240. And poor old Bullets, can he win this one? I don't think John the Brick's going to play. Bullets, put your chips in, mate. We're watching with massive curiosity to see if you can survive. Yes, he's done it. Well, Wayne Wallace, that doesn't look too pretty, does it? Bullets is back to 600. Well done, the underdog. This is a Snaky. That's a pretty horrible looking hand. Bullets 10-6 suited. Says no. And Wayne Wallace asks the question, and I think that's a correct play there. He's only got 650. He can't hang around. And he'll be pleased to take the blinds, taking them over the 800 mark. And Bullets has got the bullets. Well, if a comeback's going to take place, he's now really thinking, how can I get paid? At least that's what I hope he's thinking. Because he doesn't just want the blinds now, he wants to win some more money. Ah, unfortunate. Still, you're not last anymore, Bullets. There's three of you neck and neck. You can get in that prize money when it looked like you were dead and buried before. Now you're still a contestant. In fact, really, this is a lopsided tournament, isn't it? John the Brick there with over half the chips and the rest of them scrambling over the rest. A7 from Ghostbuster, he could well do something. He has. The pair of threes doesn't feel like a great calling hand, that's the problem, but there's 1160 in the middle and it's only going to cost him 680. And he's called it for that reason, and he's pinged the three. And there you go. This amazing comeback is now just absolutely motoring along now. He's into second place. The funny thing is, once you've made such a big comeback now, I think it makes you extra thoughtful about all your plays, because you feel that you've climbed a mountain, and it would just be so horrible to slip down that mountain with a foolish error. Well, let's hope he doesn't make one in this hand, because John the Brick's got the top pair. And he's asked the massive question, they're not going to call. And Bullets is on the button. Snaky limps. That looks garbage, he passes. Wayne cranks it up. 650 all in. And there's two of them all in. It's a three-way pot. 9865 9. And look at that. Ghostbuster there has got a full house. Bullets. This comeback continues again. He's up to 1840. It's amazing to watch this. Never give in is the motto. John the Brick scoops that without any contest. People nervous of that big stack. He's got 4,590 behind him. Wayne Wallace, though, has got to do something with this. Wow, I'm amazed. That really was an opportunity. I don't know how he could have passed that ace-10. He's only got 1140, and that was a strange pass. So it's a Snakey. I suppose he's looking at Snakey, who's going to be committed maybe, but still. And Bullets hit the 3. That was enough, and we've lost another player. We're down to 4. It's bubble time. 3 prizes. One person doesn't get anything. And Bullets decides to have a look at this. And, oh my goodness, I'm feeling nervous for him. Oh, I'm feeling very nervous now. Is he going to try it? No, he's checked. And we can see John the Brick is winning this. 3 2s and ace-jack. Oh, beg your pardon. It's not, is it, of course? It's 3 2s, and of course the king is out there to counterfeit his jack. So it was a big escape from Bullets. That was the best card he could see, because in fact his best poker hand was 2 2 2 ace king. And because they both had an ace, they both had the same hand. So Bullets has had a great escape, and it's actually taken him to over 2,000. And into the prize money as Ghostbuster flies off into the ether. Wayne Wallace now decides to lump it in with ace-4, having turned down the opportunity with an ace-10 before. And he's taken down the blinds. That's very useful, because that's 480. The blinds are 160, 320. Ace-6 against ace-deuce. How does that one split out? And it's just another split pot. Woo! He's had the lower kicker, and he's been saved each time with the split pot Bullets. There we go. In fact, they've got the ace, and so it's ace, queen, 10, 9, 7. So that's the best 5-card poker hand for both players. Split pot again. Very good example for our viewers here to see if their kicker is working. He's decided to duck out of this one and let Wayne and John the Brick play it out. Jack King, but Wayne's got the jack. John's got the 5, but the jack beats the 5s, and that's not the result Bullets wanted to see, because Wayne Wallace is still alive and kicking. Just makes up the small blind. What will Wayne think about that? Well, he quite likes the flop, but so does Bullets. He's got a flush draw. He's bet 320. Wayne Wallace has got the decision to make here. What does that bet mean? Oh, he doesn't think it means anything, and he's set him all in. This is it, life or death for Bullets. Will he hit a heart? No, he doesn't. It's a full house for Wayne Wallace. 3 8s and 2 9s. A valiant effort from Bullets. He fought his way back. He scrambled his way back. He got split pots when he needed them. He got into the prize money. A well-deserved $32 for Bullets, who came up from the floor. But Wayne Wallace is into the last 2. And we're battling it out now. And this is pretty level tournament now. And we're going to see anything from John the Brick? No. Wayne wins that one and takes the lead. New leader. Wayne, Jack 9 in the small blind, raises, makes it 640. So it's a flat raise, 320. Oh, and John the Brick says, I'm not having any of that, and he re-raises. Very brave play with ace-5 and bravery rewarded. And he's now recaptured the lead, but they're virtually neck and neck. John's got another ace. Is he going to do the same thing? No, he's just limped with the ace this time. Very interesting. 5-3-4. So John has got a backdoor flush draw and an up and down straight and a high card ace. Decides that's enough for him and he bets again. Some good aggressive poker here we're watching. Wayne, small blind with Jack 7. Not the best. Decides he doesn't want to play that one. And we've just passed the blinds back and forward, but now the blinds are 320, 640, even more meaningful than before. Total of 960 chips just by winning the blinds. And Wayne's the new leader. Ding dong. Oh, it's a real hand, but it's not against anything. And John the Brick has played it very trickily. He's left the door open for Wayne Wallace to try and represent. I think he'll check again. He has. He's got trip kings. He's risking them having the flush draw, and yes, it's worked. The trap has worked. He's left the door open, and Wayne Wallace has attempted to bluff this, and he's just called it. Extra tricky play by John the Brick. Is he going to continue this and leave the bluffing door open? No, he doesn't. He got frightened of the flop. He said, it's a bit flushy, it's a bit straighty. I've got enough, I'm over 5,000, I'm not going to risk it. Okay, anyway, I like the way you actually try to win chips with a big hand. That's something I've been trying to stress on the shows recently, and you did exactly that, John. So well done. You've got exactly an average hand there. Queen 7, sometimes known as the computer hand. Queen Jack contemplating and decides to ask the big question. Well, I'll tell you what, this is a difficult one for John because he's thinking, maybe you've got a high card, maybe I've got some chance, maybe I'm about 40%. He's not sure what to do, but he passes it. And what a lovely walk. 960 for nothing. And he returns the favour to Wayne, passing the chips back and forward, and Wayne has played the same style as John. He's just called with the pair, the big pair, because this is a big pair heads up. And John has hit the 3, and he's called it. Uh-oh, and it's 2 pairs for Wayne Wallace, and he's now taken a very healthy lead there. Aces and jacks against aces and 3s. John the Brick now, I think he should push all in with King 5. He can't hope for much better. I know the other guys have got King 7. He doesn't know that, however. And I really think King 5 is enough to push in. He's done it. I think it was the correct play. You've been unlucky, but you haven't because you've hit your 5. But it's an up and down straight for Wayne Wallace, and he's hit the king with the both got the king. He's got kings and 5s, and that's fine. The kings and 5s is good enough. John the Brick, well done. The God of Poker rewarded you for the correct play. 640, 1280. My goodness, not too much play now. Wow, he's put it down. I think that was actually wrong. He was getting odds to call there, I do believe. Okay, it's ace 3 against king 8. And ace 3 still in front. Oh, but on the river, that deadly river, a king landed with consummate ease. And John the Brick, who'd been leader of this tournament for so long, eventually got overtaken by Wayne Wallace. Anyway, I think that was a very enjoyable sit and go. Some good plays, some good attacking plays from both, especially the last 2 players there. And we saw that amazing comeback from before, which was made from 60 chips. Very good. Anyway, let's have a look. I think we've got an email here. And please, please, send me lots of emails tonight because you can be, as I said, my co-presenters tonight. Ah, hi Murray. Ah, we know what this is about, don't we? Can you give Geordie222 the credit for your nickname? He has the hump with me for mentioning it in a previous email. This is the email from Dave. That's TMDVD. Enjoying the show as usual. I trust you are well. I promise you this is a true story. I normally play on the TV tables in the evening and always try and welcome new people at the tables. Well, they probably won't be better than the ones normally there. One lady sat down and had one of the green tab profiles, and I had a quick look. So I said hi and which part of the USA she came from. The answer was California. Have a good game, and I don't know whether you know, but you may be on the UK cable TV tonight. Back came this breathless reply. Where's the camera? I've got no clothes on. Just a towel. No, you just see the cards, your table name, I explained. Ooh, matron. Any chance of our email address? All the best. Okay, that's a nice little cheery start. Listen, please send me loads of emails tonight because I'm here by myself. I don't mind at all, but it'd be lovely to hear from you and keep me and keep everyone else amused all through the night. Anyway, let's have a look at some more poker, because we're going to see so much tonight you won't believe it. We're going to have a look at a cash game now. Through the matrix. And it's 22:38 p.m. and most of the housemates are in the lounge. But Snap It and Deadman are in the 25-cent, 50-cent cash game. And here they are. $0.25, 50-cent. Maximum you can buy in for is $50. And Crip has got the second pair. Decided to call Snap It's bet of 5. Oh, what a card he's hit. He's hit trips. Does Snap It smell trouble? There's $16.50 in the middle. I think he does. He checks. And Crip checks. Tricky, tricky, tricky. Snap It probably will put a bet in now. He doesn't. He checks again. Crip bets 10. The Queen will help Snap It to put this down as well because it's an overcard to his jacks. And well done, Snap It. You got away without paying him anything. Top class. Your radar detector was finely tuned in there. You sensed that the 9 was good for him. And amazingly, you just didn't pay him any more chips. So as tricky as he was, he couldn't catch you. Johan Harron, he's got a pair of jacks. Let's see how he fares with this hand. He's raised it to $2.50, which is 5 times the big blind. And when we look at these bets, let's put them in relation to the size of the blinds. Crip here has got ace, queen, aqua. 4 times the big blind. And Crip there looks like he's in good shape. As I said, you can only start with $50 and he's got 108. And that's a very, very strange call from SOD. SOD needs a 6 to make a straight. Crip has checked. Now he's left the door open for a bet from SOD. And there you go. Crip missed out on making a continuation bet, which I think would have been good enough to win the money, and then had to put his hand down. Mr. NJ Chip limps in for 50. Followed by bullets. A flushy flop. King Jack 8. Up and down straight for bullets. 8, 9, 10 Jack. And of course the same hand for loving it. Split pot. Well, we've had a limp from Johan with the 7s. Another limp from SOD with 10 queen suited. Dead Man decides not to play with 4-6. I think pretty wise choice. And Loving It. It's got the option to put in 25 cents to make up the small blind to the big blind. The big blind had the option to raise, but turned it down. Loving It is checked, and now Mr. NJ Chip has bet 50 cents into a pot of $2. He's got the top pair. And this is 2 of clubs has given SOD a flush draw, but Mr. NJ is charging him for. He's charged $2.50. Now, it's possible Mr. NJ won't like that deuce, but no, well done, he bets. And SOD, has he got evil thoughts? Is he contemplating a re-raise bluff? Well, he might have been contemplating it, but he didn't put it into action. Joko, Ace Jack, and Loving It's got the pair of 9s on the button, so he'll have a look. Mr. NJ and Johan say goodbye. Well, it's given a straight draw for Yoko, and can he believe that his high cards will win? If in that case, he's got 3 aces, 3 jacks, and 4 cards to make a straight. He bet, and the 9s put it down. Frightened by the overcards. So it was a bad flop for the 9s. Johan, lovely ladies, $2.25. Called by King 6. $4 from the queens into a pot of 5, and backdoor flush, backdoor straight, but really not much there. As it happens, we can see his king would win as well, but not too many outs. And he doesn't know they're outs. Ooh, bullets, bullets, bullets. He's got them again, the bullets. Bullets fresh from his success of coming back to 3rd place from his 60 chips in that sit and go. And let's see if he can get paid here. The 10 jack's going to play, I believe. And it could well be worth just a little check here, even with this one pair, because SOD we've seen as a player who likes to play, try to be a little bit adventurous, so maybe he could have left the door open for him to try and steal. King, Queen for NJ. And he's hit that top pair. Makes it 3. Winner, winner. Winner, winner, and they've given them the same cards again. Make it $1. 50 with 50. Bullets. Ding dong. Trip 2s. Yum. Licks his lips, but can he imagine that his opponents hit this flop? Probably not. However, he's been given a token 50 cents. Decides to have it. Ah! Now he could imagine some, oh, but he's only bet 50 with that king. And he only called it a game, bullets. Is he going to try another check? No, he bets 350. Oh, worked well, Bullets. You read it, the situation perfectly. Got re-raised, and now you've put in the flat re-raise and got paid. Very good. Well played. Read it well. Judged your opponent well. You slow played, just called. And at the very end there, you bet, he raised, you re-raised, and you managed to get paid. So, well done. Oh, and he's got another big hand. We must be getting big hands in pairs tonight. He's got a pair of 9s now on the button. And he's made it $2. And I think that's fine to have put the bigger raise there when you've got a pair such as 9s and quite a few players. Well, with 2 other players, even the 10's going to make you a tad nervous. But if they both check, then obviously you should find out where you are and pitch a bet out there. You should put out about $3. Ah, Bullets, what a star. Exactly 3. You've asked a question, where am I? You've got the answer. You're a winner. Take the chips. Johan. A fruity raise from early position with Kojak suited. Crip has called, so Johan, we can see, is dominated. By that I mean Crip has got King Queen, whereas Johan has got King Jack, so Crip has the better kicker. And it's a much better kicker, of course, because it's just hit the Queen. And he's even got a flush draw with the Queen. But Johan's not giving in here. My goodness, he must have intentions of hitting a 10. And I wonder what Johan's going to do here, because he's actually... No, he doesn't do any more. But there's a good win, and now Crip's gone up to $121. Okay, we've seen some interesting cash play there. I particularly liked the play by Bullets with his trip 2s. I think he gave a good demonstration of slow playing a big hand. And this was a hand where you really felt that there wasn't too much opposition out there until on the turn came the king. And he sensed that well, and he didn't really make his action until the river. So he showed a lot of patience, he slow played it well, and I thought it was a good demonstration. So well played, Bullets. Anyway, we've got an email, so let's have a little look. And this is an email from Zizi. I play a lot of heads-up games on play money tables, and I've noticed other than players that play good solid poker, there seem to be 2 methods of play. Constantly making minimum raises, that's number 1. Players that go all in most hands that haven't been raised yet, either pre-flop or post-flop. How should I play against both of these players as to a raise of an amount of $5 or higher? They will often fold, making it difficult to build up a pot. Note, the game is a no-limit hold'em with starting chips of $50 and a minimum raise of $1, $2. Only 4 raises maximum per betting round. I'll tell you what, I hadn't read this email before. I think this is a cracking question, so I'm actually going to save this one for after the break, because I think we've got quite a bit of meat on this email. Zizi, your email's well worth another read. Now, please, I want loads more questions, so please, don't forget, email us. Send an email now to poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. Hi James, can you tell me? Don't forget, quick tea, come back, I'll be waiting for you. I can't wait to hear from you either. Okay, from me, bye for now. Welcome back. I'm James Browning, and this is Poker Night Live Part 2. And we've got lots for you tonight in the show. In fact, at the moment, I am being a bit of a jack of all trades because I've got a little bit of a Beat the Presenter going on the side there. So if you see me doing a little bit of a glance, I'm not being rude, I'm just keeping a track in case I pick up something playable. Anyway, we had an email before the show. I'm going to have a chat about that shortly when we just have a table in the background. But first of all, let me remind you how to contact the show. Of course, you can text us at 842-222. So that's 84222. And put the word poker in and put your question in. Or you can email us at poker pokerdightlive.co.uk. And please send in loads of questions, loads of comments, any stories. I'd love to hear them all. And it'll be great fun interacting with you, who are my co-presenters tonight. Okay, let's have a look at that MTT and see how it's getting on. And we're down to 48 runners, and that's spread out over 6 tables, as you might imagine, 6 8s of 48. And we're on the table with the big stack. And the big stack is Nash. Now, I had an email before the break there from ZZ, and he was talking, I'll praise it for you, basically about he plays a lot of heads-up tournaments on the play money tables, which is probably a difficult place to play them in a way, because people have all different sort of moods and styles. And he said he came up against 2 things. One was people who just continually made minimum raises. Well, it's probably because on the play money they don't realise you can put other raises, that might be the thing. Or people who tend to go all in pre-flop or all in on the flop. And he asked for any advice. Well, it's a good question as it happens, because this could happen in a regular heads-up tournament. With the minimum raises, what I would say is, if you have position, you are going to be last to speak, and that blinds are small, you can contain the size of this pot, and you can just call his minimum raises, because you can play selectively when you've got the better hand or when you know where you are. And of course you will help to know where you are by having position. So in those cases I'd be more inclined just to call his minimum raises and then just play the pot, hoping I'd be able to outplay him. But in the case when he made the minimum raise and you were out of position but had a good hand, then I would ask the question and I would re-raise him, because I wouldn't mind taking the pot down there and then, because I was out of position. So that's how I would handle a guy who's making minimum raises continually. And the guy who tended to go in all in pre-flop or all in on the flop, well, basically, certainly in the early stages of that sit and go tournament, when the blinds are small, you should be playing quite a quiet game, just waiting to catch this guy. And when if he's going in all in every time, well, of course you don't even need such a big hand to have the encounter with him with. But if he's still being a little bit selective, you're waiting to have a big hand where you can catch him. So you play a trappy sort of game and just wait for him to be the lemming chucking himself over the cliff. So anyway, I hope that helped ZZ. And if you have any more questions tonight, feel free to send them in. Okay, here we are on our multi-table tournament. The blinds are 100, 200. And English has just clicked the king on the river to give him the pot. And Nos there goes up to 4,000. We've got Nash, we said before, is the chip leader. He's just got king, queen. And he's got a walk, very useful. Newthan, king, queen, 3 times the big blind. Manx Dave, that's a good name, isn't it? But Manx Dave decides to surrender. Well, American Airlines, that seat seemed to be getting them quite a few times tonight. I hope that continues in the sit and go for me. Anyway, he's just called with the aces. He's looking to win chips. And he's probably pretty pleased with that flop. Hoping, of course, the opponent doesn't have a 6. Just bets 200. Ooh, and he's pretending to have the 6. But Daz does not believe him. But caution on the turn, and I'm sure he's checking there, but he's going to call for sure. In fact, he's even more confident. He's popped in a raise. He popped in a value raise there, trying to sneak another 1,000 off him. He's gone 1 with 1. Nisbet knew the game was up. And Daz got well paid with his aces. Had a big hand, and he played the big hand to win some chips, and he had a successful mission. English back, pair of 10s. Good name, English back, because England are back after their sensational 6-0 in the friendly. Mr. Crouch showing perhaps he's a bit better than people thought. Well, it's a flush just by the virtue of the fact he's got 1 diamond. Right, we're down to 43 runners now, I believe. And I don't know, I'm just going to see if we can find out what the total chips is in the tournament, because this, of course, was a rebuy tournament with add-ons. So I will try and dig up that information for you. And we're very quick around here. We found out that there's 258,000 chips in play. So let's have a look at another table, see who else is around. Whizzing through the matrix. Just to join, oh, Johan there, Johan Harem, Robo, a lot of familiar names. So the 6,000 chips is average at the moment, because we've got 43 players left. Right, not too many hands out here until we get to Anfield James. He's got lucky 7s. But King 5s decide to limp in. Raise from Ace Jack, Buck Burpee. All in from Anfield James. That should thin the field. King 5 surely is going to disappear. Well, he's hesitating. But he doesn't want to get involved with Buck Burpee, who's got him covered in chips. 8, 9, 6 to 7. He's got a straight draw as well, but he doesn't need it. The 7s was enough. Anfield survives. Zorro. Wins with the ace. I'd like to say hi to the guys in the sit and go at Table Douglas, because unfortunately my chat is disabled still. So anyway, a good evening to you all. And we have Hudson there. Not too much of a decision there. It's a good raise from Gardner on the button, but he's got a real hand, ace-queen suited. Ace-3 makes up the small blind, Zorro there. And he's both got threes, and King 3 has asked him the question. Well, difficult for Zorro to call with Ace-3 there. We could see he was winning, but he had to give Mr. Perfect the benefit of the doubt. So very aggressive play for Mr. Perfect. And we spy a real hand for Gardner. It's King Kong. And what's going to happen? It doesn't look like he's going to get a customer though. King Kong again for Zorro. He's made it a bit cheaper though. The blinds are 150, 300, and he's just made it a flat raise of 300, making it 600. And Anfield has got a pair of eights. Wowee, and on the river. Ping. Look at that. I'll tell you what, I just looked to one side to my Beat the Presenter then, I turned around to see this dynamic card on the river. Poor old Zorro. Oh, there we go. Oh, just to see Zorro recoup some money with Ace King. I'll tell you what, let's see if after this hand, let's go and have a look at one of the other tables so we can give see a few more of our players. As Gardner just takes down the blinds. Here we go, and we've got cat's eyes. And it's a raise from, no, it's not a raise at all, it's 150, 300, sorry about that. 150, so it's cat's eyes contemplating whether to make up the small blind, and he decides just to give a present to Cooksey, who is very grateful. And there we go, on the river, flush. He pops in 300, a begging bet. And that takes him to $11,722.50. Good shape. Oh, ace 10 passes, early position. Cooksey decides to raise it up on the button. And unfortunately, he's walked into ace queen, who's just called, and now is probably repeating his name. Left the door open. He's got a middle pin straight draw for Cooksey. What will Flip say? Think? He checks. Is Cooksey going to... Yes, he does. And he steals it. He uses his position, a classical semi-bluff. He had a middle pin straight draw. He had position. He sensed weakness. And he captured the opportunity. Well done, Cooksey. Good no-limit poker. Crazy boy. Cooksey ace 10 suited. He's up to 15,000 now, going along very, very nicely. And Loosey Goosey, I don't blame Loosey Goosey, all in with ace 6 suited. There's no help there, and unfortunately it's bye-bye Loosey Goosey. Dominated. But blinds were big, relation to the size of the stack, only had about 1,000 chips. Each round's going to cost Loosey Goosey 450, so had to make a move. Balrog, 1,200, 4 times the big blind, and wins the blinds. Just like to say hi to Dave and Zizi, who have actually joined in on the chat box there on my sit and go. Don't forget, I want plenty more emails tonight. Any more questions, fire them away. I'll do my best. And I'm very glad that you say that I've helped you with your game. Just a flat call on the button there with the Queen Jack. And look at this, ace, king, queen, jack 10, it's Broadway, and Balrog's got the top pair, could be trouble ahead. Oh, but he hasn't really resisted the temptation. He's actually done the massive bet, probably trying to represent a bluff, I think, is his game plan. But will Baghroyal believe this? Or is he going to put it down? And I think he's going to put it down. And I think Mio there could have actually slow played this a bit. I think he could have found a way to get some more money. The flop was a little bit dangerous, I know, but there was an opportunity. Okay, just to remind you of what our contact details are, you can text us at 84222, put the word poker and your question. Or you can email us at poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. And don't forget, we've got a very good website, which is www.pokernightlive.co.uk. And if your television is broken, or if you're upstairs with your computer, you can click Watch Now, and you can watch us on the internet. It's fantastic. Here we are, it's back to the 25-cent, 50-cent cash game. And every time we seem to see bullets, he's got a pretty respectable hand. This is ace queen suited this time. Well, it's a flushy flop for Johan, but there's a pair out there as well. Now, there's trips out there. Does anyone have a 9? No. Does anyone have a pair? We can see they haven't. Bullets just limps in with his ace-7. I just passed my hand on the sit and go. Morrison limps in. Ace-4 queen. No aces around, but Morrison's got the queen. He bets $1 into a pot of 2. Johan. Pair of 9s. He's read it well. 2 overcards. Johan says, nope. I'm not playing a guessing game there, mate. Bullets again. Not bullets, but pair of jacks, not bad. And it's a good flop for a pair of jacks. He's got the overpair. 7 king 2. So SOD, he's got king queen. It gives him the top pair. And the predator is waiting with his flush draw. He doesn't get it. Contemplating. And decides to put in $5. No good, mate. Bullets, ace 10 this time. Seven, 2, 5, he's got the flush draw, he's got overcards, and look, there's another flush draw there, Joko. Uh-oh, there could be trouble ahead. Just calls. SOD's got the 2. And it's a king arrives, doesn't help anybody. And nope, no one's going to make a try, just so a baby pair of 2s takes down the cash. One feels that there could have been opportunities there for people. And again, we're not connecting with these flops at the moment here. No one's got an ace. And it's the 10 scoops it for the predator. Yeah. Yeah. Right, I'd just like to thank you. There's loads of emails coming in now, and that's brilliant. So thanks very much indeed. And keep on sending them. So pop in those emails to Poker Night Live, and I'll be reading all these emails tonight. Don't you worry about it. We'll look at this final hand in the cash game, 5-9-3. We've got an up and down straight there for Mr. NJ Chip, 3-4-5-6. Bets 2. The predator has got nothing. Oh, he's decided to go along for the ride. He's got a middle pin straight draw. In fact, he's got a double gut shot, hasn't he? Look at that, because he can hit the 4 or the 8 there. So it was very interesting. He had a gut shot, the double gut shot, the double belly buster he had, in fact. So, in fact, they both had the same opportunities to make a straight. In fact, his would have been the more disguised way of making it, but he decided to pass. Okay, we've got some emails here, so let me have a look what we've got. We've got one here from Richard, and it says, "Hi James, I was playing in a tournament earlier and had king-queen off, 3,000 chips, and the blinds were 75-150. I raised 2 times the big blind and had 1 caller with 4,000 chips. The flop was Jack 5-10 rainbow. So therefore the blinds were 75-150 and he raised 2 times the big blind, so he put in 300. So he's got 2,700 left, so we'll keep track of his story. I checked the other player. The other player bet 400. I called. So on that flop, Jack 5-10, he's obviously got an up and down straight. The turn was an ace, giving me a straight. I checked, expecting him to bet, and I would have raised him if he raised him. He checked, and the river was a jack. I reckon I was about a 10-1 on favourite on the turn and went all in after the river card, but in the showdown he showed a Jack 5, giving him a house. Should I have taken the initiative and bet strongly on the turn when I made my straight, giving him bad odds to call? Although I suspect he would have called with his 2 pairs anyway. Cheers. Yes, basically, in this tournament here, you've made your hand. We don't want to play too trickily in these. You definitely want to say, why is this guy there? Why is he in this hand? So you should be asking a question. Don't just try and slow play everything. In this case here, I think you could have actually put in some sort of bet, and don't worry if he in fact just disappears, because we've got to watch out for the situations where the only way that someone will come along will be if they can hit a miracle, or if they're on a hand, which in this case he is about 10-1 against to turn his 2 pair into a house. To let him have the card for free is a sin. You must not allow it to happen, because let's put the shoe on the other foot. If you were him, you would be saying, please don't bet. Don't bet. I don't want to call a bet when I'm 10-1 against. Don't bet. So don't do what he wants. And you did what he wants, so it wasn't the right play. Okay, so I hope that helped. And let's go to the next one. And this is from Shane. Hi, James. Great show, and fair play to you for doing it on your own. Just wondering of how sponsorship works in poker. I tried recently to get sponsorship and got met with closed doors. Even though I know the local bookmakers well, and they were sponsoring the main event. Can you tell me how to go about trying for sponsorship, please? I'd rather not give out my username as I play in the cash games you comment on. I hope I comment favourably then, Shane, if you're going to get sponsorship. Right, number 1, I'm going to be cheeky here, but you've got to learn how to spell sponsorship, because it doesn't look good when you ask with the wrong spelling. That'd be my first advice. It's with an O, not an E, mate. Okay. Basically, I think we need to win something before we get sponsorship. If you can win some big tournament and have some great personality, which I'm sure you have, or have some amazing gimmick which hasn't been seen before, then that might be a good method to get sponsorship. Otherwise, you can try and talk some of your local business people into backing you and saying, how about sponsoring me for a certain period of time, and work out a deal where maybe they put up all the money and you get a small percentage of the winnings, and see if they're going to like the idea of that. And you could wear their shirt for them with Bob the Butcher on the back or whatever. No, anyway, so just listen, there's no harm trying. I wish you all the best, but go and try and win something big, and that'll make life easier. I wish you all the best, Shane, and I hope you do find sponsorship. And if you do, you've got to, of course, contact us and let us know all about it. Okay, another one here, and this is from Mark from Newcastle. Good evening, Sir James. He knew how to get his email read out, didn't he? Sorry to see you're on your own tonight, but you're doing great. Keep it up. Thanks, mate. Just a quick query about live play. I'm playing in my first live game on Wednesday at the Grosvenor in Newcastle. It's a £3 rebuy tourney with unlimited rebuys for the first 90 minutes. As I have never played a live game or even been inside a casino before as a seasoned pro, I was hoping you could give me some advice and tips on things like the etiquette and good strategy for live play. Any and all advice will be appreciated. Great show. Keep up the good work. Mark, thank you very much indeed. Right, this is going to be your first time in the casino. Right, my first bit of advice is, because you've never been in the casino before, you're going to be a little bit overawed, because it'll all be bright lights and ringing bells and roulette wheels spinning around and pretty girls dealing blackjack and pretty girls bringing you drinks. So it's going to be hard for you to concentrate in poker. So what I want you to do is, I want you to go early that night. I want to get there well before the tournament so you can just get yourself acclimatized to the whole scene. And you can have a look around and satisfy your curiosity and go and have a look at the tables you're going to be playing at. Then go up to the staff, say, this is going to be my first ever tournament. Could you just please tell me some of any rules that I should know which are specific for this casino? And then they should be able to tell you this. Also ask to have a look at the chips so you can see what different colours the chips are and what denominations they are. So you can check all that out before you start playing. So really, follow my advice and go there at least an hour before the whole thing starts. Then they'll give you a guideline, how often the blinds go up, etc., etc. Basically, when you're playing live, you can't go wrong if whenever you make a bet or act, either if you're going to pass or raise or bet, if you announce what you're doing and announce the number of chips you're putting in the pot, then you can't make a mistake. So you can say, raise, and don't do anything with the chips, say, I'll raise 300. And that'll mean you'll call the bet and you'll raise it 300 more. But if you've announced it, there'll be no mistakes, because otherwise you can get your chips, and if you put your chips in the pot like this, that's called a string bet, which you're not allowed to do. And what happens in that case, even though you're meant to put all these chips in the pot, the first one which dropped would be the bet. And that might be what you want to do. So safeguard, announce what you're going to be doing. I think that advice should take you through your first night. I want you to have a great time. I want you to enjoy that rebuy tournament. I'm glad you're going into a cheap one, so any mistakes you make will not be too expensive. And I hope from this one tournament it leads to a lot more and a lot of success. So, Mark, I'll wish you all the best. Now listen, I've got loads of emails here. I want to thank you all very much indeed. I do appreciate it. You are my co-presenters tonight, so well done. I actually am very greedy, however, and I do want more. So you can either text me at 84222, put in the word poker with your poker question or your poker comment, or email us at poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. And I'll tell you what, just to show you how keen I am, I'm actually going to do one more email, because I am going to get through all these emails, however many there are, even if we have to stay open till 6 o'clock this morning. So I hope the guys in the back realise this. Oh, beg your pardon, I was just going to about read you out again there, Mark. That's no good. That's cheating. This is from Wayne Wallace. I believe that we've been watching him on the TV tonight. Dear James, from Wayne Wallace. Keep up the good work, always watching the show and thoroughly enjoying it. Referring back to where I laid ace-10 down, I remember it, you said it was a wasted opportunity. To be honest, I did think of going all in, but I took into account that the next two players behind me were really small stacked and on the verge of going out. Plus, I was in first position and John the Biscuit could have had a bigger hand. Thanks, James. Keep up the good work. Okay, well, I'm very glad that you actually thought of going all in. I believe at that time, if I remember rightly, we were down to 5 players. Now, if I'm right, ace-10, even though you're in early position, is a big hand with 5 players. And people there generally don't want to be calling so much. They want to be betting. So I think, because of your situation, I do think you actually should have made your move there. But anyway, the very fact you thought about it, I liked some of the things you said there. You said you were looking at the size of the stacks, etc., etc. So the main thing is there, you are thinking poker. And that's a great sign. And if you keep on thinking out these situations all the time, it's only going to lead to one thing. And that is, you are going to get better and better. And that's what I want everyone who watches the show to get, is better and better. And I think that the Poker Night Live viewers are hopefully going to become the elite of the poker world and start winning numerous tournaments and fly the Poker Night Live flag proudly. Okay, so let's have a little bit look at some more poker, and we'll go back to the cash game. And here we are back in the cash game. It's the 25 cent, 50 cent. And Morrison bets $1 with his ace-10. The Predator, 3 overcards to his pair of nines, wisely decides to surrender with no further ado. Mr. NJ Chip has limped or made up the small blind, but I think Johan is going to charge for the pleasure of playing in this pot, and he does, and he's charging $3. If you want to play, put in $3 more, and he's got a king 10 to call his ace queen suited, which is a bargain for him. And the ace, however, surrenders. Well, Johan hasn't hit a pair, but he's hit the nut flush draw, and he believes he's got overcards. He's read the situation perfectly. He bets and takes down the money. Morrison, big slick, aces rather. American Airlines. Makes it $1. K9 decided to just stay in this pot. Here's the aces, he's bet $3, and SOD had just sort of gone along there with a really suspect call. And calls like that with the K9 are horrible because you know you just don't know where you are with a hand like that. At that stage, too easily could be dominated one way or another. Okay, let's have a look at some pre-flop folds. And here we are. And we can see this is the percentage of time that people folded before the flop. And Yoko is top of the charts with 77% pre-flop fold percentage. Actually, this game, people are actually seeing quite a lot of hands here, because SOD is only folding 70%, and we see all the rest of them there seeing quite a few hands, and the Predator, of course, is seeing more than half the hands. So he's playing in an 8-seater game and playing more than half the hands. That's pretty loose. Well, with that bit of information implanted in our minds, let's see if we can translate it to the player's play. Of course, why that percentage is like that is now actually because there's now only 5 players in the game, and that's probably why they're seeing more hands, so that explains that. Because obviously the less people in the game, the more hands you will be seeing. And we've got a flushy flop again, and NJ's got the 8 of spades. Not really that big enough to be too confident with, even if he hits it, but he must fancy it. He's actually bet, and he's used position well there, so he'd sensed a bit of weakness. He thought, well, I'm going to exploit it. I will test you. I'll test your mettle. Are you brave enough or foolish enough? And they decided that they were neither, but they would pass. Morrison is made up with the 7s. And look at this, 8, 9, 10, Jack, Queen for Mr. NJ, and he's got the flush draw covered. In fact, he's got a straight flush draw. 10 of spades, straight flush. If the 10 of spades lands, there's going to be trumpets blowing, bells ringing. Oh, and it would be amazing if it landed now, because it would give Predator a full house, and of course Mr. NJ would have the straight flush. Ah, oh, it would be blood everywhere. It would be a nightmare for Predator. it's landed! I don't believe it! I've named the card. Unbelievable. Exactly as I predicted here. The Predator has made a full house, 10s over 9s, and Mr. NJ's got the straight flush, 8, 9, 10, Jack, Queen. And the Predator, of course, thinks he's got it cooked. He's put all his money in. Mr. NJ, straight flush. I can't believe that I even mentioned the possibility of that, and ping, there it landed. I seem to be getting followed around by the most amazing hands on here these days. It's just unbelievable. The guys in the gallery, have you ever seen anything like this? Never ever, they said. Unbelievable. I swear I knew nothing about that. It's just unbelievable. Anyway, Morrison. Whew, what a hand that was. Morrison, what a horrible story for Predator. That was cruel, wasn't it? King, Queen. And another flushy flop. This time in hearts. Crip has got the Queen of Hearts, which is would be the second best flush. Obviously someone sitting with the ace would have the nut flush, and it's landed. The flush is landed. Morrison's got the king. In fact, he's got two pairs, kings and eights, but Crip's got the flush. And SOD limps with ace 10. Infin is inching, but he's going to pass. Jag. John Prescott. XJ. Raises to 1. Can't afford to raise to 3, just lost his job. Top pair for Jag with a jack kicker. Top pair for Sod with a 10 kicker. And he's re-raised, but Jag says, I'm pretty confident. Plus, you've got to act first, pal. Which he does. And SOD bet again, and he's continued the betting. Well, that Queen didn't frighten Jag. He said, if you've got that kicker, you've got it anyway. And I think it's less likely you've got that kicker now, and it's more likely that my Jack is winning, and it's easier for me now to call. And he did so. Well, look at this. Limp City here. Infin limp. Sekhmet limps with 2-7 suited. That's really great imagination there. And the small blind made up. We have 5. It's almost a family pot. 9 Jack, King. Infin with the King, top pair. And he's got a straight draw. We're coming up towards a break. Are we going to see the finish of this hand? It's going to be neck and neck. The 7-2 passes. Mr. NJ. Come on, mate. Pass, pass. We could see it. SOD. No silly play. Well done. We've got a winner there. Infin. He scooped the pot. Lovely jubbly. Just good timing, guys. We're working like a well-oiled machine here. Players and commentator entwined together tonight. Listen, I asked you before. I want more emails. There's a load there. I want more. Have another cup of tea because you've been very good. I'll have one, and I will see you after the break. Well, hello again. I'm James Browning. This is Poker Night Live, part 3. Plenty of action. We're going to see Beat the Presenter, and that presenter is me, obviously, well deduced. We're going to have loads of emails because you've been responding greatly to my requests. I'm going to keep on asking for them throughout the night. I want to have loads and loads to answer tonight. You are my co-presenters after all. And what better thing to do than have a look at one now? And this is from David from London. Hello, David. Greetings, James. I just want to tell you about a situation I encountered twice in a week while slow playing aces in a short-handed game. I flopped ace 9-2 rainbow. He's got trips. Perfect, or so I thought. The turn card was 9, giving me a full house. My opponent bet. I raised. He goes all in, and I call. He has quad 9s. A few days later, a similar situation occurs with me being on the receiving end again. When I analysed the hands, it seems very difficult to get away from a situation where two players flop trips, and one of them goes on to make quads. The other player will naturally have a full house, making it difficult to get away from. Your thoughts, please, James. Regards, David. Well, David, you're dead right. It's very hard to get away from. And the thing is, it's extra hard to get away from when, of course, you've got trip aces, because it's bound to be the top trips. Now, if you've got the bottom trips, and there's been, if both of you've got enough chips and there's enough betting going on, you can sometimes read that you've walked into trouble, and at the very least you can try and contain the size of the pot. And you're going to lose in these head-on collisions, but you try and reduce the amount you are going to lose in these situations. That's all you can really hope for. But when you've got the top trips, there's nothing you're going to do. You've hit the top house. It's just very brutal. You've walked into quads. And this isn't going to happen too often. And when you do have the top trips and make the top house, you're going to win loads and loads of times. And you'll soon have the memory of those 4 9s wiped from your mind as you busy count up all the chips you've won with your full house aces. So yes, very difficult to get away from. You're dead right. Okay, let's have a look at another one. And this is from Phil. In fact, Phil R. Hi, James. I have a question regarding my local casino game. It's the Grosvenor, Huddersfield. Yes, we will give it a mention. I feel the structure is quite poor. In their rebuy tournaments, you're given 500 chips with blinds of 25-50, so just under 7 rounds of the table. So what he's done is he added up the 25 to 50 and divided into the 500, and he's dead right. It's also a pot limit game, so I often find that if I raise the pot, say around 250 chips, depending on number of people already in the pot, that I'm nearly always pot committed from then on. And it can be just a case of pure luck whether those chips are returned with interest or not. I haven't played in weeks now due to my feelings against the structure, but wondered what the best way to play these would be. I used to think just waiting around and raising pot with good hands worked, and hoping they hold up, of course, but find it's too much of a crapshoot with no manoeuvrability on the flop. I've thought about small raises so that you can build a pot in case you hit, but get away from it if you miss. I haven't yet tried this strategy, but do you think this would be an acceptable one? Any help would be much appreciated, as I'd love to start playing and winning live games again. Thanks, Phil. Right, Phil, to start with, I want you to go along to the Grosvenor Huddersfield and say you've just been having a chat with James Browning on Poker Night Live, and he recommends that you start giving the players 1,000 chips instead of 500 and putting a bit more play into the tournament, because that's what the players want. They want to get a bit more play. So at least if they double the stack to 1,000, that would be better. So that's your duty now, Phil. You've got to go to the Grosvenor, say you've asked me on the television, I've publicly announced that we're going to request you to give it a trial giving 1,000 chips. The next thing is, if they don't, hard lines, but at least you've tried. But with the 500, you've basically have got to, you can't put in the big raise pre-flop, because then you're virtually going all in, as you say, because you're going to be pot committed. If you've got 250 in, it's hard to get away from. So therefore, you've got to reduce the size of your raises. In the early stages here, maybe you've got to limp in a little bit more and only want to commit loads of chips when you've got a really big hand. But you can try smaller raises, and I think that is a good idea because it does give you room to maneuver. You're still declaring that you're raising. People in a way can understand why it's a small raise because you're not starting with many chips to start with, and then you can perhaps get away from a hand. Again, you've got to identify the types of players who you're playing against. Will they recognize this? Will they understand what you're doing? Or are they the sorts who are just going to whack their chips in anyway? All this, of course, is part of the wonderful poker puzzle that we all like to partake in. Anyway, I hope those bits of advice will help you. do go and ask the Grosvenor. I think they will be willing to listen. Tell them, for example, that the Grosvenor in Luton put on amazing tournaments, amazing festivals, and do concentrate on giving the players a lot of play. Tell them that in their own group that's their policy, so why can't they do it in Huddersfield? You deserve it. Okay, let's have a look at another one. And this is from Carl. And this is Carl spelt with a C. Good evening, Carl. Good evening, Poker Night Live. Great show. I just watched one of the TV players slow play Trip 2s. What a great play. And he got paid well. I was in a $100 buy-in no limit game earlier and managed to double up in about an hour. Then my pocket jacks tripped when flop came 2-6 jack rainbow. I was well excited, especially when someone with big chip stack, yum yum, raised to $15. I just flat called. Turn came a 4. Other player bet pot size about $35. I flat called again, trapping. River came queen. He now had pocket queens, put all his money in and bust me out. Is there another way of playing this hand, or was it just tough luck? I've been watching your show for about a year now. I don't trust the 7-8 off, but I like the king-queen rules in the land of the unraised pot. Works 9 times out of 10 for me. Well, I'm glad about that, Carl. No, I think you're playing a money game there. You did raise, you did charge the guy. He's hit a 2-outer on the river. How did he bet it on the river there? He put all his money in. It's very, very difficult there for you. You obviously in your stomach say, oh, I just wonder if you hit that trip queens, but it's very tough to get away from. And I don't think you did too much wrong at all. Okay, just to remind you of those contact details, you can text us on 84222, put in the word poker, put in your poker question, or email us at poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. That's a text there on the screen, followed very closely by the email, both of which I've told you already. Okay, I was slightly premature there. Right, I'll tell you what, we're now going to have a look at Beat the Presenter. And this has been frozen, and it's the first hand, and that's me in the corner. Sounds like a song. Browning 007. I was actually attempting to commentate on another game while I was playing, so occasionally I might have been a little bit slow acting on my hand, but I'm not sure. Nismo SI makes it 60. So we've had a flat raise by Kansas to 40, a re-raise by Nismo, and it's up to Charwell, who's called with the 10-6. Well, and Kansas has hit the top pair with a king kicker, but Nismo bets out with the top pair with a 10. But Kansas is not worried. And what's Nismo going to do now? He bets 60. Is that a little sign of weakness? Kansas just calls. Well, of course, that queen isn't great news for Kansas, because he might think that Nismo had Jack Queen. He's hoping he hasn't got Jack Ace, but of course, it's all right. He didn't get frightened, and he won the money because he had the better kicker. 4 deuce, happy to pass. Look, I'm losing. Raises up with 9-5 suited. Was he trying to live up to his name? Only joking, mate. Kansas passes. Pair of 3s for Browning 007. I think I was talking to you at the time, my dear viewers. Hurry up, Browning. Okay, he limps. But look, there's a real hand behind him, Miller. And he's made it expensive. 6 times the big blind. Blasted Browning out of the pot. Didn't want to get into a flip of a coin at that stage. Nismo, Queen 9. Fishing for chips. Decides to have a look with Ace Jack. And here we have the same situation as a couple of hands before, where both players have hit the top pair. To add to this, we've got Charwell, who's hit the second pair. And a couple of backdoor straight opportunities. Anyway, Tem bets 180 and Fishing for Chips asks the immediate question. He's got the jack with the top kicker. He feels confident. He said, if you're on a flush draw, you're going to pay for it, pal. He's raised him to 540. And Tem makes a good laydown. Laid down the top pair. Realised there was could be problems with his kicker. And he was right. Nismo, SI. King Queen raises to 80. 4 times the big blind. And takes down 30. Nismo does a flat raise this time, makes it to 40. Not much behind him. And the Jack Queen on the big blind is going to cost him 20. There's 70 in the pot. He's getting 7 to his money and he calls. And I think that's fine. But he is out of position, of course, and that's not a flop he likes. He could have, of course, bet the small flop, which sometimes is a winning tactic for someone calling a raise. But he's decided to call the bet. Now that is strange. And he's checked. Well, what's he going to do now? Is he going to try and attempt to bet? And I say it's strange because calling with Queen Jack, his opponent could easily have Ace Jack or Ace Queen, and he could just be hitting a card to get into trouble. But at least now he's said, okay, I'm going to try. But 80 into a pot of a 250 is quite small bet. But it's worked. And maybe the size is what put off Nismo. He thought it's a bit of a smelly bet. It looks like he wants to get paid. So, well, hats off to you at the end there, Miller. You saw an opportunity. I did say, though, with that play, I did want you to try after doing a rather strange call. If that was your backup plan, then the whole thing wasn't too bad. And Kansas raises it up to 60. I've got Queen 10 suited. Decide to pass. And my Queen 10 suited, of course, wouldn't be too good against a King 10. So no regrets from what I see there. Ooh, and on the turn comes the big, fat, juicy ace of hearts, giving Kansas top pair. Nismo, non-believer, bets. Kansas, he raises him, makes it 300. And Nismo calls. Ooh. And lost a bit more than you should have done there, Nismo. Charwell limps with the 5s. Well, here they realised that I was playing very solid because I was commentating to you on another game at the same time. But I decided not to do anything here, and I thought I'll just limp in with the ace-king. I'll vary my play and just see what happens. And now the pair of 8s limps as well. They're really trying to trap me here. And ooh, look at that. On the flop, he's pinged trip 8s. Look, I'm losing. No connection. Middle pin straight draw for Nismo. Pair of 5s for Charwell. There's too many people there. I'm not going to try stealing that at all. And the 8 has trap checked. And it's worked, he thinks. But of course we can see that that 10 has given, look, I'm losing 7, 8, 9, 10 Jack. And that is what I've been saying earlier in the show about sometimes when we slow play, we're only going to get someone interested who's going to be making a very big hand. And of course that's what's happened. So he's actually got out-tricked in his slow playing, and I think there he slow played against too many people, and that is not a good time to do it. That's not just because of the result, it's just that there's too many possibilities out there. And for the guy there now to have hit that miracle, and then for you to pay him some money as well, it's a shame. And the more people you slow play against, the less correct it is to slow play. Because obviously the more possibilities of all different hands out there. Lots of people could have obscure middle pin straight draws, etc., etc. Well, there's Miller. He's got the nut flush draw. It's not the Miller light flush draw, it's the nut flush draw. Charwell, no connection. What does Fish and Chips think? 2 over cards. Not going to bother. Well, Jack 5, Motown, but I can't hear the music playing. Decide to chuck it away. Miller, pair of 3s. He just limps. Look, I'm losing. On the cut-off position, raises to 60. Nismo says no. Charwell calls in the small blind with A7. Strange call. Pair of 3s. He has a look. Charwell got the second pair. Look, I'm losing. He's missed altogether, but he bets 200 into a pot of 200. Strong play. Does Charwell believe him? No, he doesn't. He calls, but he's checked again. And look, I'm losing's checked. A little sign there for Charwell. Is he going to check and call, or is he going to put in a bet? He puts in the bet. Look, I'm losing. Got caught there by Charwell. Charwell was a non-believer. Ace 4 off suit for me. Not very tempting. King 7 suited for Miller. Nope. Jack 8, I'm not very keen on that one. Limping with that. Raised it up by 10, and look, I'm losing is left us 20 behind. Blinds are now 20-40. Look, I'm losing cranks it up to 120, 3 times the big blind. It's good enough. Takes down the dosh. I think this was just a commentating delay from me here. Sorry about that. I was never considering calling with that Queen 4, I can tell you. And not getting overrun with cards here at the moment. and I even passed my 4-7. I don't want to get involved at this stage in the battle of the blinds. I want to show that I can pass a small blind. Might go in my favour later. K9. Not bothered with that either. Still plenty of time, still a lot of play in this tournament. Now I'm aware of that, but there's still a lot of play. I don't need to be pushing at the wrong time. I'm trying to make my play is going to be in relation to the size of the blinds. And the jacks here has really cranked it up, made it 420 and pushed the jack king out. We've got an ace-10 on the small blind, Miller 7-10 on the button. What's Luke I'm losing going to do with this one? Big raise. And he gets called by 8-3. Wow. Nismo. And Nismo, not enough chips to be calling with that hand. Look, I'm losing on the button. Yes, we see a button play. 3 times a big blind. He's got 8 jack. Nismo can't call with 8-2, and the 10 jack's going to have a problem, but he calls it, and we have a flushy flop again, and Charwell has got the jack, which we can see is the second best available card for the flush because the queen will be better. And Look, I'm losing has hit the 8, and he bet away, and he's bet now even though there's a flush there. And oh my goodness, now Charwell knows that he's got the nuts. He's got the jack of spades in his hand. He's licking his lips. And of course that spade there, he bets 40. Oh my goodness, poor Look, I'm losing. And he's raised him. Oh, he just didn't believe. When that extra spade came, he didn't believe Charwell had the flush. And Charwell's re-raised, and there's a flush on the board, and Look, I'm losing. He's just hoping that Charwell hasn't got a spade in his hand and it's a split pot. But you know, he passes that actual raise down. He actually starts to believe that he's got a spade now. Well, very aggressive play from Look, I'm losing. I don't know if he had to. Could he not have asked those questions for less chips? That's what's going through my mind. Because if the other guy doesn't have the flush, can't you bet it in such a way that you represent you have a flush? And I think you could have found out exactly what you found out, but for less money. Because you lost quite a chunk there. King 8, I'm still not bothered. Haven't recovered since I played that in Paris over a year ago. Ace Queen for Nismo. Let's see what price. 300? Let's gamble. Well, blinds 20-40. Still got quite a bit of play left there, Nismo. I've just called with King Queen under the gun. Pair of 3s just calls. Ace 2 passes. Fish and chips makes up the small blind. And Kansas puts in the raise with Ace Jack. And I'm quite happy to let this go. A pair of 3s calls, however. And the flop comes 4-5-7. So a 6 would give Look, I'm losing a straight. A 3 would give him trips. And if Kansas doesn't improve, he's winning anyway. And he's re-raised all in and asked Kansas the big question. Do you want to put 860 in here now? Kansas replies, no. Nismo. ace 5. Well, Kansas, are you going to pass? Yes, thank you very much. 7-2. Always nice to receive the blinds. Fishing for chips. He's got American Airlines, and look, I'm losing as pair of queens. There definitely could be a collision. How's he going to play it? Fishing for chips. He's just raised it another 80. So it's a flat re-raise. No decision for me with my 8-5. That goes in the dusty bin. Miller, he's going to be passing too. And look, I'm losing. Wow. He's no questions. He just goes all in. Fishing for chips. It hit the trips. There's a 1 escape for look, I'm losing. It's a 10. It's not there. It makes a full house for fishing for chips. 3 aces, 2 kings. And we've lost a player. Look, I'm losing. You're right. You lost. Queens against aces. A tough one there. You were down in chips a bit. Browning, King Jack on the button. Just calls. Miller doesn't make up the blind. Nisbo, King 4, just checks. Well, we've both hit a king. And I've got a flush draw as well. Nismo bets 120. I don't believe he's necessarily got the ace, but I'm not sure. But I've got a pair and a flush draw. I'm just going to ask him the big question, and I'm going to put him all in. I've got him well covered in chips. And he calls me. And there it is. I actually make a flush. I was winning with the kicker anyway. I didn't muck around. I did the re-raise. And thank you very much. Pair of 8s. Fresh from my success with the flush. What do I do? The blinds are 40-80. And I just call. Miller, Jack 3. And Tem, 6 Jack. Check from Tem and a check from me. And I've hit trip 8s there on the turn. Very sweet. I bet 160. There's a double flush draw there. I'm going to charge him something. And I just take down the pot. And quite sweet, I've gone to 2,800. So slow start, but now I've got 2,800 and we've lost 2 players. So reasonably happy with how it's all going. The average chips is 2,666 at the moment, so I'm just above average. And there's Tem taking down that one and going to become chip leader. Now I've got a pair of 3s under the gun here, and I don't want to raise with it, and I don't particularly want to limp with it now because it's too tempting for people in position to come over the top. And so I've decided to put it down. Don't want to play a guessing game with that one at this stage. Tem, Queen Deuce, fishing for chips, 10 Jack, and he's made it 80. He just called, i.e. Well, I've got Jack 9 offsuit. I check, and look at this, fishing for chips is hit trip 10s, very sweet. And do I try something? Nope. Fishing for chips. He checks. Ooh, tricky, tricky. Well, I've hit my 9 now, so I've got 2 pairs, 10s and 9s. But again, I don't know where I am in this pot, and I decide to try and contain the size of it. Well, there's no flush card there. He's just bet 80. I don't believe he's necessarily got anything. So I call the 80. I was right, I was beating Kansas, because I didn't think he would necessarily think I had the 9. And then Fishing for Chips raises. Well, he's raised me 160, and there's 640 in the pot. So I'm getting 4-1 my money. And I know Fishing for Chips is capable of bluffing. So I decide reluctantly that I'm going to call. And I do call, and well played, Fishing for Chips. You caught me well there. You trapped me with your trips. Fishing for Trips by Fishing for Chips. Well, 5-3. Dumped quite easily. Miller, 3-7. He's been raised by Tem to 320, 4 times the big blind with Jack 10 suited. And hard for him to call. And Tem collects another 120 onto his stack. 10-6. No thanks. Miller says no as well. And the button moves round. Browning, King Deuce. Well, no one's connected. And still no one's connected, so Jack Queen just wins by virtue of having the higher cards. Hoping to find a hand, still I don't find one. It's 3-7. Charwell, that's rather nice. On the button, Ace Queen makes it 320 4 times and takes down another 120. King 5, no. Miller, Ace 10. Deuces. 80 with 80. Called by Ace 9 and no waiting. First card out is an ace. Now we see the 9 there as well, but of course that makes no difference because he's got aces and queens. Actually aces and queens with a jack. So the 9 is counterfeited. It does not count as a pair. Charwell 6-9 suited. Pass, pass, pass. And Kansas has raised me. And I decide not to tangle. I could play that one. I think I wanted full concentration if I played it because I was talking to you as well. I decided not to. It's still a dodgy hand anyway, so I was happy to put it down. No. I decide to raise here, and because I have put stuff down, when I do raise it's probably going to get a bit more respect. I've got a pretty good hand heads up anyway, and I'm happy to take down the blinds because I'm out of position, and that's given me another round of play. Desperately trying to find a hand on the button or something, or some sort of hand, but 10-3 is not too good. Having said that, on the opening round of the final table at Aspers on Tuesday, I did actually get caught raising with 10-2 on the button, and rather fortunately spiked the 2, which was enough to knock somebody out. Very cruel. The Bronson, the Dolly. Well, aces. Whee! I'll try a flat raise. Please, someone have something. Could have just limped maybe, but not too bad. 240. Would like more with aces, obviously. But I did the smallest raise, but it was still called. As I said, possibly I could have contemplated just flat calling there. It looked like I was only going to be against maybe maximum of 2 people. Anyway, there's a proper hand again as well. Charwold's got the ladies, and he does the flat raise. And he's not going to get called either, because there's not much opposition. Okay, let's just have a look at the pre-flop folds. And there we are, coming up on the right-hand side. Pre-flop folds. Fishing for chips, 86%. Oh, goodness, it feels like I folded more than he did, but there you go. Kansas Coyotes, 83%. And it's just Charwold who seems to be moving and a grooving. Back to the game. Well, a load of rubbish out there, fishing for chips phone like that, and thank you very much. I'll just pick up the blinds, and that's rather sweet when you pick up 240 there for nothing. Very nice. Charwold, ace, jack. 6 players, this is a reasonable hand. Blinds at 8160, what's he going to do? He's contemplating. He's chewing it over. He's, whoa! And everyone passed in a flurry there, and Miller collected the blinds. And rubbish again, and Miller raises with his ace and takes the blinds. Well, some good poker going on here. Fishing for chips has asked the question under the gun with a pair of 4s, and of course he's not going to get any action because the big blind's only got 2 undercards, which was not easy to do, I can tell you. Woo, pair of 9s. I can't remember what I bet. $4.80. 3 times the big blind. Didn't particularly want to play that out of position too much, but liked the hand obviously. Got me edging towards 3,000 there. So I just sort of sneaked into 3rd place. Miller under the gun, ace queen suited. What does he do? Makes it 640. Well, too much for me, I'm afraid. I'm going to give you the utmost respect, sir, and my chips. Well done. King 5. Decide to just make up the small blind. So I have varied my play on that small blind. I've raised from it, I've passed it, now I've made it up. And that's quite sweet. I've hit the pair, but I decide actually just to check it. Miller has hit nothing, and he checks it as well, I believe. Ah, how sweet it is. Along comes the king, which gives me 2 pairs, kings and 5s. I bet 160 into a pot of 320, so half the pot. And Miller raises because he likes the king and isn't even certain that I've got a king. I now actually re-raise, and Miller passes. There's ways he could have overtaken me by hitting a 7 or by hitting a queen. There's not. Kansas makes it 640, flat raise with ace 3. And now he's picked a big slick. King 10, no thanks. Tem-H, re-raise with his pair of 5s. And here we have, oh, it's a coin flip with the pair of 5 small favourite, but not now, but now they are. And it's on the turn. He's hit the trips. Wow, poor old Kansas there. He thought that everything was sweet when he hit his ace on the flop, but along came the 5 on the turn, and wham, we've had another shock as Tem-H captures a big pot. 6,000 chips he's got. Very good. I've picked up a pair of 9s. The blinds are juicy now. It's 163.20. My opponent's only got 1460. I've done a flat raise. He doesn't want to know. I take down the blinds. I did try to get a bit of action there even with them, but in the end I don't mind taking the blinds either. But what it means is I found out that they will pass, of course, 4 minimum raises, which maybe could be useful later. Anyway, Miller. King 9, it's quite good in the small blind. We can see, of course, that it's dominated, but he doesn't know that. It's an above average hand. Wow, he's done the full works. He's gone all in, but he's been called Charwell without a blink. He calls so easily. And it's a pair of aces with King 10, and it's a pair of aces with King, Queen 10, and that beats a pair of aces with King, Queen 9, and we've lost another player. Bye-bye, Miller. Battle of the kickers. The 10 beat the 9. And we lose Miller. And we're down to bubble time. Nobody likes to be bubbled, I can tell you that. I can easily pass my 3-7. Well, I'm in 3rd place here. I can see I've got fishing for chips covered in chips. Jack 7. It has crossed my mind that's my small blind, it's my button next. I think I'm going to leave the pressure on fishing for chips. But he spies quite a good hand, but he doesn't want to play because he doesn't want to get involved there. He sees me, got him slightly covered, I think. Anyway, he's going to have to put chips in now. That's what I wanted because he's got 320. Ah! Now, even though it's about the bubble, I've got a big hand here. I decide I'm just going to push all in, try and get my maximum fold equity. Unfortunately, I've walked into a pair of 8s. It's a close contest. I've got quite a lot of outs there. King, an ace or a jack. It doesn't appear... Oh, no. I've been bubbled. I'll tell you what, that hurt. But I don't think I played it incorrectly. I think it was the right play. I wasn't just trying to get into the top 3. I was also trying to win the tournament. That would have been a nice state if I do get fortunate and come from being a small favourite underdog against the 8s, but it wasn't to happen. Bubbled. I think in 5 tourneys now it's three bubbles in 2 seconds. Yuck. Never mind. Anyway, let's read some emails. We've got one here from Spencer Boy. James. 9 months since I played my first ever poker game. Lately I'm reading the game so much better, but made a mistake the other day, I think, by putting my money in despite thinking I was behind. Can you give me your thoughts? Game, 50 cent, $1. Background, been playing 10 minutes, raising aggressively with good hands and pushing my starting 50 to 110. People had been laying down to my re-raises, but then I hit ace with ace-king, re-raising again, but was called, which slowed me down in the hand. Eventually lost that hand to a7, who hit 7 on the river. Perhaps this created doubt in the minds of others, as I had re-raised and lost, and they never got to see I still had good hand. 2 or 3 hands later came the hand in question. Solid player limped for $1. Me, on the button, called with a pair of 6s. Flop, Queen, 9, 6, rainbow flop. Seems to be a night of the flop trips, isn't it? I got trips. Yep, we spotted it. Blinds, check. Limper, bets pot $4. I re-raise for $12. Limper re-raises for $36. I push my last 72 and get called. His most likely hands based on his betting on the flop: ace queen, unlikely limped; king queen, ace 9, ace 6, unlikely. I got sixes, but lots of players play these hands at this level: 9, 9, jack 10 or 8, 7, drawing to open-ended, or possibly limped with ace 8, hoping for a raiser, but unlikely. Question: was my play a winning play in the long run? Outcome below on this hand. We'll go to the outcome because we're running out of time a little bit. P.S. Answer: I immediately said to myself he got 9, 9 when he re-raised me, and I was right. So I was upset that I did not lay it down and instead chose to push all in. Well, I think it is very, very difficult putting trips down. The only thing is here is there was quite a lot of betting going on. Bet 4, you re-raise 12, Limper re-raises 36. I push my last 72 and get called. It's tough. It's possible here that you can still say to yourself, if I have walked into a train crash here, maybe you don't push the last one in and say, maybe he won't put me all in. Maybe I'll save some money that way. But if he bets and does set me in, I'll call anyway. In the long run, that way, you might actually come out making a little bit less of a loss on that play. But as I said, very tough, these trips against trips. And I don't think you did anything too wrong, really. Okay, this is from SI. I believe SI, that's who was in the tournament, I think. It is, it's come up. I thought we was going to do a slow refresh there. It's email from SI. Hi, James. Thanks for out-kickering me and knocking me out of tonight's Beat the Presenter. Please not to be last, though. I think it was a flush I hit, wasn't it? And had the higher kicker. Just to let you know that I'm a relative novice and I've only been playing the real money game for 5 weeks. I've recently moved up to $5 sit-and-go tourneys and had quite good success so far. Any constructive criticism gratefully accepted. Can I also ask a question? Could you explain when it is correct to chase a draw, either a flush or a straight? I recently won a sit and go with a defining hand being one where I played ace-3 of hearts, betting very heavily and hitting the flush on the river after 2 hearts came down on the flop, I think he means, copping a lot of stick in the chat box in the process. Is this wrong in the long run, or did I act correctly? I did notice in your play there that you actually called a raise with 8-3 in that game. And this is a game when you didn't have many chips left. Well, basically, you can't afford to be making dodgy calls when you don't have many chips. The only person who can make dodgy calls is someone who's got a massive stack of chips and who's hoping to hit some, really wipe someone out. Well, you weren't in that situation because you were the one who was going to get wiped out because the guy had you covered in chips. So you can't fritter chips away when you don't have too many. Basically, you don't want to be chasing draws in this game. You want to be actually having the goods and charging people to make the draws far more than chasing them. So just bear that in mind. Just because we have some success with it doesn't mean to say that it's the right play. Anyway, I'm going to be answering lots more emails after the break. Yes, you can have one more cup of tea, but it's your last one. And I'll see you again very shortly. Hi, I'm James Browning and welcome back to Poker Night Live. We're having a great time tonight. It's a small party, but hopefully it's a good party. We're all joining together. You've been great with all your emails you're sending me, and I've really enjoyed them. And I'd like to say they've been of very high quality. What else could we expect from our Poker Night Live viewers? Nothing but the best. You're a good bunch. Anyway, let's get back to that sit and go where I was cruelly bubbled and see what happens next. And here we are, the last 3, fishing for chips. We just get there in time to see him capturing a pot. And he just cranks it up. All in. And he's taken down the blinds. Very significant for him. 480 chips, which was increasing his stack by a good percentage. Charwell, 10 deuce. Don't think he wants to get involved here. But it looks like there could be an encounter between Tem and Fish. And there it is. Ace against King Queen. The ace is hit, the queen is hit. There's a 9 there. A 10 would give Fish and Chips a straight. It's not to be. He fought valiantly, but the ace beat the king. Or the queen, rather. But you know what I mean. The battle for first prize now. Charwell and Tem. I think he can pass that easily. He does. So that's a better hand to have in the small blind. Ace King, you can fight with that one for sure. And fight he does. And puts up the price of poker. A price which Charwell is not happy to pay. Sensibly. Well, Tem pressures again. He's got a pair. And Charwell's got 2 pairs. Queens and 9s. He can't like that because a 10, of course, would give a straight, but he's not got time to worry about it. He bets 640. Now Tem is worried that he's got a straight. He's got good enough for him. He's got 2 pairs. And Charwell back in the game. In fact, well back in the game as he takes the next pot as well. Blinds are 320, 640. So each round there, 960. Very significant to take the blinds, of course. And we've had the preemptive strike there by Tem. Charwell, I don't think he's going to like that 10-5, or he's just made it up. And no connection, he's out of position, that's the problem. Tem doesn't try anything. 2 pairs. So now Charwell says, look, I might have a higher card. And it worked. He put the right price bet in as well. He could get away from it, but also his opponent was too worried and just passed. And we're going to see a contest here. Yes, it's King Queen against 4s. The king's hit immediately. Is there a 3 or a 4? 3 would make a straight, a 4 would make trips. It's not to be there. And the king wins, and we have a winner. The winner is Tem H. A very worthy second was Charwell. And I'd like to say well done to all you guys who played in that sit and go. Yes, thank you very much. I enjoyed playing with you guys. I said I wasn't being rude, not chatting. My chat's been disabled. But it was a good sit and go and well played. Some more emails. We've got one from Tomo. Going solo? I recently came 4th in a $3 turbo multi-table tournament with 71 runners. And it was also a bounty tourney. This is only my 2nd final table, with the other being 3rd in a pot limit Omaha multi-table tournament. But by the time it got to the final 6, it was a 6-seater, I had not enough chips to play properly, having either to go all in or fold. Have you got any advice for making more chips in the later stages of the tourney? As I had no probs at the beginning, being in the top 6 till the money. In the end, I won $20 for 4th and $25 for knocking out a bounty player. Also, can you tell me what size bankroll I need to move up to 25-cent, 50-cent pot limit Omaha cash games? Wow, okay. Right, in the tournaments, the latter stages, we don't unfortunately always have a chance to keep pace with the average stack or whatever, because sometimes as the blinds get higher, people are always making preemptive strikes at the pot, and sometimes you just can't do anything. Also, if you go card dead at the wrong time, there's not too much you can do. However, what we have to do, and something that you were doing, is you were noticing that it came to the stage where you either had to virtually pass or go all in. Well, that's good. At least you realised you had no other play at that point. What I will say to you is, be aware, because sometimes you can be in that push or pass phase of the tournament, but if you successfully take down the blinds a few times, or maybe even get doubled up, always be aware where your stack has become big enough to give you an option with your play. Don't just get stuck in one type of play. Always be aware and now say, oh, hang on, things have changed. I can now put this size raise in, which will give me an option to get away. I can take down the pot probably for less of a risk. be aware, because poker, as we realize, is a forever changing game. We have to be watching other people's situations, our position, everything forever changing. So that would be my advice there. And then it said, oh, you're well done for knocking out the bounty play. That boosted your prize money. In fact, you got more for that than coming fourth. And what size for the 25 cent, 50 cent pot limit Omaha cash game? Well, scarily enough, you need, in my mind, 40 times the maximum buy-in, really, for all games. Now, that might be extra conservative. I would rather give you the more conservative answer, because I think it's just the best way. It just means that we're not going to be ending up playing in a game above our level. If we sort of stick to what I'm saying here, we're going to be staying at the level where we're going to be comfortable, where we can play our best poker. Okay, well, we'll have a look to see if there's another one. We've got one from Miller 951. Hi James, apologies for such a rubbish game tonight. I was really up for it, sat next to you. Had a few good hands early on, then had to go pick the kids up. Oh joy, please don't slate my rubbish play. Definitely not. Okay, and here's one from Mal. Hi guys. Hi guys. Please get your eyes tested, because honestly, have you got double vision? You've been drinking, haven't you? I would just like your views on how I play small pairs. Overall, I think I lose money on them and don't enjoy getting one. Oh. In general, in early and middle position, I fold them. In later position, providing there's been no action, I will limp in. I'm looking for a set on the flop and will fold if I don't land one. As I expect to lose, what I'm looking for is a number of players to be involved, say 5, so that if I do, or more than 5 you say, so that if I do land a set, then I will be getting good pot odds and getting well paid. I appreciate that there are other considerations, but how do you feel the number of players pre-flop should influence how you play small pairs? Right, that is a very good answer basically to playing small pairs when you're playing limit hold'em. That is a perfect guideline for limit hold'em, where we're restricted to how much we can bet. So therefore you need a lot of company in the pot to make sure that we get rewarded for this magnificent feat of hitting trips on the flop, which is 7.5 to 1, and then having people who want to pay us. So we need to have a lot of people there. But when we play no limit, we don't need to have as many people there, because we're not restricted to how much we have to bet. So if we do get this good encounter, in no limit, there's a good chance that we can capture all the chips, or at least in the good occasions we will. So this means that we don't need to have so much company. The way you play them, I think, is fine. I think you can limp with small pairs and basically play it as you do. But in no limit, I think you won't need as many players in there as you think. Okay, I'll tell you what, it's time we revisited that MTT, and let's see what's going on there. I would imagine it'll be the final table by now. Let's have a look. Tension mounts. Yes! It's final table time. And it's a full table. We've got Cooksey, Everbright, Half Face, Buck Burpee, Gardner, Mr. Perfect, Nash Anubis, and What a Bluff. And 93 runners. First prize is $516. Second prize $344. Third prize $215. Nash Anubis, raise it up. And blinds here, 1,000, 2,000. Mr. Perfect. Jack 4-7's a flop, so Gardner there, he's got the top pair. And Mr. Perfect actually would like Gardner's 10, which would give him a straight, but he's not going to get the chance to find a 10. And the flop, Queen Jack 5, so both hit the flop. Nash has hit the Queen, and What a Bluff has hit the Jack. And What a Bluff, unfortunately, got overexcited with second pair, and we have our first casualty. And he goes out in 8th place with $68.80. Half face, Queen 7, doesn't look too promising, does it? Mr. Perfect, no. Nash and Nubis, he's got a lot of chips there, 34,000, but decides not to get involved. And blinds 1,500, 3,000, and Cooksey made up with the Queen 9. Now he's hit top pair, and he senses that's winning. And it's a good bet because Everbright had the Queen of Diamonds in the pocket there, so stopped them drawing to the flush, so well played Cooksey. Everbright makes up the small blind with ace-6 and has hit the ace and the 6. Half face has hit the Queen. Now how is Everbright going to play this? Just checks it. Obviously knows that they're in great shape. Half face bets with the second pair, thinking that was weakness from Everbright. Now he's given the game away a bit. He's done a flat raise, but half face called. And now half face has got a flush draw as well. And a small bet of 3,000 from Everbright. And he's checked. He's left the door open, but he doesn't get any more. But anyway, that little encounter has taken him up to 53,000. And Cooksey, aggressive play, raising to 24,000 with ace-2 suited. Well, job done, and he collected the 4,500. Half face on the button, ace-8. Small blind, Queen, King. As we carry along here, I'm just going to read you a couple more emails, because I did promise we're going to read them. Email from Mark. Just a quick email to say thanks to Sir James, oh my goodness, for the advice on live play. My mind has been laid at rest and now feel a lot more confident on live play. as I was actually going to play in a £10 rebuy tournament on Friday, but I'm now glad I didn't, as I would more than likely have been far too nervous to play. I've been playing for about a year now online and play $25, $50 and $51 cash games and various MTT. So far I'm well up on my initial investment, and it is all down to the Poker Night Live team and crew. Well, thank you very much. I hope to do well in the tourney on Wednesday, and I'll send you a quick email later next week and let you know how I got on. Thank you very much. Once again, thank you for the advice. It has really made me feel more confident already, and there's still 4 days to go. Keep up the good show, and best of luck in the game, sir. My goodness. Such reverence. No wonder you got it read out. 2 Queen 8 on the flop, and Everbright's got the 8, and he's got the chips. And it's a raise from Gardner to ace with ace-7 to 6,000. Flat raise, 3 with 3. Mr. Perfect there, and he's come over the top. All in from Mr. Perfect, Jack Queen. Well, it's only 4,000 more though. How much fold equity did he think he had there? And that was the question. If it was a bigger question, it just wasn't that much more for Gardner to call there, was it? And because of that, I doubt whether that was the right play, because I think your fold equity was rather slim. You have to look how many chips your opponent's got and how many more chips he's got to put in the pot. If there's such a big pot that he's getting huge odds, imagine you were in his situation. Would you be calling with different hands? If you would, well, you realise it's very hard to get them to put it down. Anyway, Gardner here, got a big hand. He's got a pair of 10s. Of course, there's a bigger hand ahead of him, and that's Buck Burpee with American Airlines. And Buck Burpee nearly did the biggest burp of his life, because all of a sudden someone's gone in 72,000. He can't believe his luck. So he's called. Gardner very correctly passed. There's 3 9s on the flop, and there it is. It's a full house, 3 9s, 2 aces, and Buck Burpee says thank you very much. There it is. The flop came over, emergency, 999. It was an emergency for Cooksey, not for Buck Burpee, however, and the house was great, and he got the chips. We've got another email here. I'll just go through this one. Email from Philar. Hi, James. Don't usually email this much, but your pleas for emails has convinced me. Good work hosting the show on your own, I must say. Thank you very much. I have a question regarding a new player. My friend has seen me making a profit at poker, and this has interested him in the game. He's seen it on TV and knows all the basic rules of the game, but I'm set to teach him how to actually play the game tomorrow. I was just wondering what kind of things I should cover and how much detail I should go into. And also, how should I teach him? Should I play in a game myself at $1, $2 cash level and explain my actions? Or let him go in at a lower level and let him try it out himself? Any suggestions would be useful. Well, I think it's a good idea to use the internet to try and teach him, but basically I would get him, just to start with, when you're teaching him, I would get him just to go in a play money game. It doesn't matter about the result or how badly or crazily they're playing, just so he can get an idea of what's going on, because he's bound to ask questions, you're bound to miss plays, etc., etc. So don't do it for money to start with. Get him just to get through the mechanics of the game, talk to him about the button, about the blinds, about betting in position, about the sort of starting hands you can play, etc., etc. The other thing is, if you're going to be talking to him tomorrow, obviously get him to start watching Poker Night Live. It'll save you the job of teaching him so much. And in a combination of the two, I'm sure that'll get him along the way. Anyway, good luck with your teaching, and let us know how you get on with your student, Phil. There we have half face. Ace Queen, he's made it 9,000, 3 times the big blind. And Cooksey, Ace 9, oops, and he's pressed the all-in button. It looks like trouble ahead because half 8 ain't putting it down. And look at that, no waiting, a queen on the flop, and he's got a club to cover it. But look at that, what an escape. Ace, King, Queen, Jack, 10. The 10 was the magic card for Cooksey. It gave him a split pot. Big escape. We might change your name from Cooksey to Houdini. All in from Nash. Not all in, beg your pardon. Big bet from Nash, 18,000. And that 4,500 fits very sweetly on Nash Anubis's stack of chips. Got another email here. We've got one here from Adam. Hi James, great show mate, doing really well by yourself. Couple of quick questions. Firstly, do you have any advice on how to develop self-control? I'm having big problems maintaining the same standard of play. The trouble being that when my bankroll starts looking juicy, I become careless with the money I'm playing with, because I feel I have a safety net and cannot go broke. Have you got any advice on maintaining the same play whether I have a lot of money or if I don't have much at all? Lastly, do you know any site on the web where I can find the daily schedules on casinos around the UK and any festivals being played? Thanks ever so much for your time. Adam, you are welcome. Now, your question there is an important question for everyone, is the question of self-control. It is a problem for people, but what we have to do at all times, we mustn't just become blasé because we've had a good run and we've built up our bankroll a bit. We have to always respect the chips, respect every single chip. And basically, don't be thinking about the size of your bankroll, just be thinking about the hand in action and try to play that hand to the utmost. Either minimizing your loss in the hand or maximizing your win if the situation is right. Don't suddenly just become slap happy and too light-hearted and just say, well, I've got plenty of chips, it doesn't matter. We can never feel it doesn't matter in poker, because as soon as we say, oh, well, you know, it just doesn't matter, I've been lucky, I just think I'm going to be lucky, this is downhill in shadows, no good at all. Respect every single solitary chip. And for you, I would now say you should be extra disciplined. I'd say really make yourself disciplined. I'd say, right, don't start a game unless you're going to start in the big blind. Don't just join the game. Or, better still, if it's a full ring game, join just after the blinds have passed. So you just put in one big blind. Why am I telling you this? Because it's going to make you respect every chip. So you're going to squeeze every ounce of value out of this game. And for you, I think this is what you should be looking to do. Then make sure that you're playing in the right level, because if you've wiped yourself out, it probably means you've been playing in too big a level anyway. Don't run before you can walk. So I would say you've got to have the discipline to play a small game and play it correctly. Go by my guidelines on the bankroll, and only when your bankroll gets to the right size for the next level, move up to that one. And that should make you respect the chips, because you should say, right, my aim is to try to get up this next level. I've got to play properly, got to play properly. If you can follow that advice, I hope that helps. And the other question is, do you know any site in the web where I can find the daily schedules on casinos around the UK and festivals? Okay, well, there's some good sites on the internet there. Certainly for festivals, etc., etc., you can go to www.pokerineurope.com. And another site which also gives the festivals but also gives the daily schedules for casinos is one rather warm to my heart. You can go to www.pokerchatchat.com, and that has a casino directory, and it gives you all their daily tournaments. So anyway, I hope that helped, Adam, and thanks for your email. Back to the final. And we've got 6 runners. And Nash, never frightened to put his chips in, puts it in with Queen 9. Or was it Queen 8? I only glanced. Oh, and Big Slick rises up. Half face. Makes it 12. Pass, pass, pass. Doesn't look like any contestants. And aces again. We seem to have seen a lot of aces here tonight. Cooksey on the button. 10 queen. Oh my goodness. Cooksey's tried it again. He thought the limp was... Oh, the limp... Oh, sorry, it's a raise. It's a small raise. He thought that was weakness. But he's going to find out it's not. The aces is there. He's got 2 pairs. And now it's made a straight just to add insult to injury. And Cooksey... No escape this time, mate. Horrible time to walk into American Airlines. Everbright. And Buck Burpie's got Big Slick. Suited. On the big blind. But uncontested. Everbright. 9 Jack in the cutoff. No move. Buck Burpie. The blinds have gone up, as you can see, to 2,000, 4,000, each round costing 6,000 chips. And Gardner, can see those blinds lying in the middle. Is he going to be tempted? No, he's not. And it's Nash who's under pressure here. Not many rounds of play. And we know he's capable of attacking. Let's try and judge when the best time for his attack would have been. Anyway, Everbright's asked a question, and half-ace doesn't have that many chips and didn't want to tangle. So good pressure from Everbright, using his chip stack well. And this is the moment for Nash. Here it is. Click that button. Ah, half-price sale. Well, it's tempted Everbright, who's dominated. But, oh, it's tempted Buck Burpie, who's got a flush draw. Tension for Nash. He's hit the ace. He's delighted. He bets 8,200. He gets called. Oh no! What a horrible sight. A jack on the turn. It's a lovely sight for Everbright, however. Bets 12,000. Can Buck Burpie come from third to last? No, he can't. And Everbright wins with aces and jacks. Nash and Nubis cruelly beaten. He had Everbright dominated. But it went against him. There it is. He was winning on the flop. He had the problems with the flush, but he was still favourite. But along came the jack, made him a big underdog. Because then, of course, even if he hit the king of diamonds, it would make Buck Burpie a flush. So therefore, poor old Nash, all of a sudden, only had 2 outs. And now he's only got the way out. Buck Burpie, pair of fifis. Makes it 16,000. Anyway, we're down to 4. And Nash there didn't go empty-handed. He walked away with $137. Very nice indeed. Buck Burpie small blind makes it 14. Good enough. Got another email here. This is an email from Mark Humphrey. Hello, Mark. Hi, James. I'm hoping you could analyse a particular hand I played in an MTT earlier tonight. The blinds were 200, 400, the average 8,000, and I was sitting on 24,000. Very nice. Second table leader. 50 left and positioned 5th. I was in the big blind and everyone folded to the small blind, who raised to 1,200, which is 3 times the big blind, who incidentally had more chips than me. Aha. I had king, so I re-raised to 2,900, obviously to suck him in. He called the re-raise with queen 5. Oh my goodness. Flop came down, queen 5-4, offering very little threat. As it happens, all the money went in and his 2-pair held up. My question is, in this type of situation, did I play it correctly, or should I have re-raised more to discourage action? Thanks, would appreciate any analysis you could give on this type of situation. I mean, I think you've played this fine, actually. You've raised to 2,900. I mean, possibly you could have made it 3 times, just three times his bet, 3,600. So you really did perhaps declare your intentions in this hand. But once it's called with queen 5, it's a dreadful call. I mean, you're going to win this so many times. He's a massive underdog. You've just been very unlucky. No, I think you played it fine, and you were just unlucky. And you were happy that he called with this queen 5, and then you could have just bet him out of it then. Perhaps if he just hit a queen, suppose it'd come queen 7-4. I mean, then if he wants to call when you bet, you're getting so much value. But you've done nothing wrong there, you were just unlucky. So anyway, thanks for the email. It was a good email, and very well put as well. Hope you're enjoying the show, and good luck with your poker. Well, we just lost Buck Burpee there. He had ace-deuce up against king 9. The 9s were winning on the flop, and they were cruising on the river because they made trips. And we're down to Heads Up at Poker Night Live. Okay, interesting to see this heads up. It's a very level battle here. The chips are pretty evenly divided. Blinds are 2,000, 4,000, so both players have got quite a bit of play. Now Gardner's hit the top pair here, queen 8, but Everbright has hit the top pair with king 8. Yet again, we have a battle of the kickers, and Everbright feels that he has a better kicker, but the club can't please either player, and that 4th club definitely will calm the whole thing down. No one can like it, unless it is, no, he doesn't like it. Is Gardner going to try to represent? He has got position. A bet would win it. Is that big enough? No, it's not. Make your bet in proportion to the size of the pot, because that was just not big enough a bet. The pot was very big, and Everbright had shown earlier with his re-raise that he was reasonably happy with the pot. So you have to bear that in mind. So always look back over the hand to see what had been going on. And because Everbright had done a re-raise against you, you realise that there was something about it he liked, which is probably that he had a pair. Well, I know you had a pair as well, but obviously it wasn't that great, and obviously your opponent could have a higher kicker, which he did have, or a bigger pair, or 2 pair, or whatever. It didn't feel like he liked the flush, because neither of you seemed to like the turn card club. So your small bet there of 8,000 just was not enough. It'd probably be either 2 things, either just check it down, or, which you'd have lost obviously, or bet bigger and try to take it down for yourself. 4-4-5, no good. So 150,000 to about 107,000 here. Still a good contest. And Gardner here has got the pair of nines, but he just gets the blinds for that. Ever Bright, very happy to get 6,000 with 2-5 off suit. Grossly overpaid, he's glad to say. And he's put that re-raise in with 7-10 and it was enough. And he's starting to crank up the action, is our old Ever Bright there. Now 7-4, small blind, I think he can chuck that. Nope, he's raised with it. Well, and he's been called. Uh-oh. He's not going to like it now out of position. Is he going to carry on? No, he doesn't. He checks. Ever Bright's hit that. He's got a pair of twos. It was enough to tempt him. He's bet it. And Gardner there suddenly might be hurting a bit that he decided to get overly ambitious out of position with a really dodgy hand. It's asking a lot because out of position as well, it's just so difficult. When you play something like 7-2, or funny hand, 7-4 I think you had, didn't you? The button here has got all the advantages. It's on the big blind and it's got position. So really think carefully about your out of position plays. And Ever Bright is just made up the small blind. Will Gardner just check? Yes, he does. Very tricky. But look at this. What a flop for 2-3. 2-3, 4-5. A straight draw and a flush draw. He's bet and he's been raised by Gardner. Oh, what a nightmare. It's trip aces for Gardner and it's made the flush for Ever Bright. He's bet 16. Gardner can't get away from this, can he? Does he believe the flush? I can still make the house. Oh, he's whacked it all in. He doesn't even want to think about it. He's all in. Well, now the 2-3 might be thinking, do you have a bigger flush? Why are you not scared of this? But he calls anyway, and there it is. What a sensational finish. Trip aces and a flush draw for Ever Bright, which connected. He got paid with the smallest flush possible. He had the 2-3 of clubs. What a spectacular finish. Yet another spectacular hand tonight. I think I'm a magnet for spectacular hands these days. They just seem to follow me around. Well done, Gardner. And extra well done for Ever Bright. Very, very good indeed. What hands? I mean, can you remember early on when I talked about the 10 of spades? It made the guy the full house and it made the other guy the straight flush. And now we've seen this one. He had the straight draw and the flush draw with his 2-3 of clubs. What a flop that was. Then he makes the flush and gives the other guy trip ace at the same time. It's like a storybook. You'd say, too good to be true, can't believe it. But that's poker. It happens. Okie doke, let's have a look to see if we have any more emails, and which we do. Here's one from Daniel. Hi James, great show as always. Thank you. I've got a question. I've been playing free rolls for a while now and have placed quite well. Out of 27 free rolls, I've cashed in 13 of them. First place, one time. That's pretty good. Am I ready to put in some dollars and try MTTs? Okay, well I mean that's... you didn't tell us how many people are in the free rolls, and normally in these free rolls they're very well populated. So, but they do sort of probably pay quite a high percentage of the field. But still, that's a very good record. 13 cashes out of 27, and also to win one of them, very good indeed. Yes, I would sort of venture in at the low end of these multi-table tournaments. I think it's time to dip your toe in the water and have a little go. And then still keep on playing your free rolls as well. So like try a little money one and then go back to trying your free roll and balance, make a nice balance between the two of them. And That way, if you do well in them, you can just keep on progressing. So well done indeed, Daniel, and thanks for your email. I'll tell you what, I've got another couple of emails, but why don't we just have a little cool down and have a look at a little bit of a cash game. And the Matrix whizzes. Will it find one? And it does. It's a 25.50 cent. We were looking at this game earlier, and let's see what the situation is now. 6, 8, 10, and that's a rather nice flop for Emilio. He's got the trips. Well, is he going to have the problem with these trips that other people have been having? No, he's not, because there's nothing out there to bother him, apart from a 9. Could it be the kiss of death? I don't think so. A 9 would, of course, give Sekhmet a straight. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But Sekhmet is not going to call for that. We don't believe. And he didn't. And Emilio has success with his trips. Pair of jacks for Emilio. He's going to find out where he is. Crip has got the 6, so he's got 2 pairs, kings and 6s, and he's raised, a flat raise against Emilio. Now, what is the 10s going to do? SOD looking rather rich there in this game. He's got $141, maximum buy-in 50. Does he think anyone's got a king? No, he doesn't, so he just calls. Now the jacks say, what on earth's going on there? Have one of you guys got a king? I don't know where I am now. Oh my goodness, and it's pressure on the jacks because there's 2 other people in this pot. It really feels like someone's got a king. And I think he's going to pass. He does. It felt like a king because of the too many people in there. And because of that, SOD has captured the lead in this. But he doesn't quite know where he is, and he doesn't bet either. Well, what an amazing hand of poker. And in the end, the 10s win it, and Emilio has just kicked the cat. Another case of that poor old cat getting a boot, just at the wrong time. What was that for, he said. Crip raises with 7s. Sekhmet, no thanks. Pair of 5s calls. Middle pin straight draw for Argyle Jack, because he's got a pair of 5s. So a 4 would give him a straight. And the over pair for Crip. But Argyle's bet, and Crip is re-raised. Crip now has got 2 pairs, 7s and 3s. Argyle, 5s and 3s. Argyle deliberating. Crip, is he going to bet again? He does. And he bets about half the pot. Pretty good bet, I like it. Because there's a flush draw out there, there's a 3 out there, he wants to find out where he is. He doesn't want to give someone a free draw. It's good poker, and he found out where he is. He's the winner. And he got Argyle Jack to pass. Be no point giving the guy a free draw there. No good at all. And Argyle Jack just limps in. The small blind makes it up with his pair of jacks. Tricky, tricky play. And he bets 150. Thinking to himself, goodness, I was really tricky with my jacks. All of a sudden, I'm facing a flush draw and a queen on the flop. Couldn't it have been a nicer flop than that? Late position, he's got ace-3. We've got pair of jacks again. It seems to be the pair at the moment. Popular pair to have. Jack, and his name is Jack. Oh my goodness, and he's hit a jack. It's too many coincidences. Jack Cack with a pair of jacks hits a jack. And look at this, there's a flush draw for Argyle. He bets 2. And full house for Jack Cack. 3 jacks and 2 kings. And he bets all in, 1749. Argyle. Will he mistakenly think his ace would be good if he hit? Or does he even think that his flush will be good? As we can see, he's drawing dead. Well done, Argyle. You sensed that your number might be up, and you quite correctly passed. Well, I think this will have to be our last hand. See if there's any action here or not. And it's a flush draw. Jack Cack. And Jack Cack has hit the 8, and he wins another pot. And a nice little taster of a cash game there. Quite a bit of action again there. Well, very good indeed. We've got a couple more emails. Let's have a look at these, see what this one is. It's from Simon. Hi, guys. Enjoying the show. Just wanted to get your view on live play. What should I consider to change when I switch from online to live play? We did touch on that earlier, but going to live play, I think you have to readjust yourself that everything is going to seem a lot slower. So make sure that you've got your patient head on. The game is going to be slower compared with the internet game. Probably you multi-table on the internet, so it'll even feel even faster to you. So in the live game, be patient, take your time, and also take advantage of the fact that you can actually see your opponent and watch your opponents, see if they have any special mannerisms, any tells, any habits, if they look confident or nervous, and try and grasp every bit of advantage out of the game that you can. When you're not in the hand, be really watching everybody and studying, and that would be my main advice. And another one here. Hi, another Simon. Hi, James. Great show. Just like to ask you, what is the best way to play low pocket pairs in early position, as I'm always troubled with these hands when I play. Keep up the good work. Well, we have touched a little bit again, but again, low pocket pairs, nothing wrong with limping. Play them as a drawing hand, i.e. you're interested in them if they hit the set, hit your card like you've got a pair of 2s, you hit a 2 in the flop, so you make your set. If you don't hit, you're happy just to get rid of them because you're in early position. If there's a massive raises after you, be quite happy to chuck it away anyway. Hope that helps. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you all very much indeed for keeping me great company tonight. You have all been sensational co-presenters. This is me, James Browning, saying thank you very much. If you haven't had enough of me tonight, you can get a bit more of me tomorrow night when I'm on here with the lovely, wonderful hairstyled Nick Welthall. From me, James Browning, good night, God bless.